and welcome to the next level. We are happy to have you with us this week. As we get going into things relatively quickly, I wanted to let you all know that for announcements, we have none this week. No announcements. Just checking. Yeah, okay. Also, for our ask this week, the group is going to be held. I'm starting off with a fun little speech thing. Heading back to Silver Lake. So there's going to be potentially lots of people they can interact with there. So who might be some interesting and fun and quirky figures that they might encounter in Silver Lake, other than the people that they're aiming to encounter as they're going about their business? So, and reminder of what that business is, in our previous episodes, our characters had left the Temple of the Archmage to return to Gildy's house in hopes of freeing Alphonse. A battle had ensued, which was quite up and down for a while, but was ultimately won by our heroes. There was plans that went horribly awry, mostly Leon's. Alphonse was saved, Gildy was happy, and many of the people who had come to get Morgan, oddly enough, in the statue, were dealt with. You had captured the one cleric as well as a spy who had been there, and had sent them sort of on their way back to Silver Lake with, I think, 2 horses, and they had only chosen to take 2 bodies with them, potentially to get resurrected and such, leaving you with 4 minus 9, 5 others that I believe were Gildy's request is just get them out of the house. So they are in a nice, neat little pile stacked next to the wood pile, in case they need dismembering or anything like that. And we, I believe, left off deciding that you were going to head back to Silver Lake. I'm still a little curious as to exactly what the plan is when we get there, but I think we'll find that out soon enough. And we will start the session with you have had a good night's rest. So you're all fully recovered. You've had a long rest. You have had time to attune to your new items. It is a new day, and you can do what you would like.
I would probably do my usual early morning meditation now that I'm so good at it.
Yep. All right, so I believe if you want to give a roll, which is a intelligence check with advantage, I think is what we've settled on.
I don't know why. When you said daily, I was expecting you to say calisthenics.
Calisthenics. 12 and 6.
12.
All right. 12. You have a little bit of trouble meditating this morning. Maybe it was the particularly rough day you had yesterday.
Actually, I know exactly what it is.
Yes.
Just before I meditated, I put on the ring of gears that I picked up a little while ago, attuned to it, and assembled my homunculus, which is in the form of a little mechanical bat that's sitting on my shoulder. I call him Edgar. And as I'm trying to meditate, it's just trying to poke my head a little bit. It needs some attention.
Yep. So you think you're just starting to get to, that place of darkness where usually you would have encountered Mirdu. This sort of distraction, you're almost there, and then a booming voice speaks into your head. It is not Mirdu, and you're guessing that maybe it's because of your meditating, whatever else, that it's sort of coming across so loud and clear, but there is a message for you.
Whoa.
I have to make sure I do this in 25 words or less. I didn't actually write it down first, so we'll see how this goes. Jacob, this is the abbot of the Archmage. You sought an expert on death. Seek out the queen of the Alanine elves, Nyelva Sayori. think there's actually 24. I could be way off, but we'll see. Someone else will count after this and tell me I was actually 30 somewhere. So yes, it was the abbot getting back to you, telling you that in terms of an expert on death that you had asked about,
Cool.
they gave you the name Nielva Sayori, who's the queen of the Ealanine elves.
Have I heard of this name before?
Give me a history check. $11.
I've heard of queens before.
You've heard of queens. You've heard of these elves before. These elves live in the west of what is actually the Empire at the moment, in the Ealanine Forest. You've actually heard the queen's name. I'm going to say with 11, probably not. You know of the elves, you know of the Ealanine Forest and sort of roughly where they are,
Okay.
but you have not heard of that specific name.
Okay. And my last order of business, I will touch a flask, and in it appears a potion of swiftness.
Nice.
Since I'm awake, everybody else is sleeping and stuff.
Yep.
I was thinking that once I see Jacob wakes and starts to meditate, I'm basically going to secretly cast Detect Magic and just kind of observe the area around him to see if he ends up like actually making some kind of contact with the spirit, see if I can see anything that's going on around him. So I don't know if I actually see the sending come in. That would be kind of cool.
You probably do. Sort of weird aura of whatever a sending spell is. That sort of it surrounds, mostly his head for a moment or two. Jacob, you can actually send a reply back if you would like, of 25 words or less.
Sure. I will respond with, thank you very much for the information. I will seek it out, and it's greatly appreciated.
All right. So yeah, it doesn't last long, but you are able to sort of identify that there is, this brief moment of sending. Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
That's really weird. It's evocation. That's really weird. But it's evocation.
Oh, sorry. Is it every 2 weeks? Sorry, I'm reading notes on the side here. It has not been 2 weeks. Yeah, the last one was on the 1st, and it is now the 8th. So it's been 8 days. So it's been 1 week. Because in this world, a week is 8 days. Now, since none of you knew what that is about, Leon,
Yep.
anything else that you were doing?
No, I mean, I think I would just continue like mending things that I could.
Yep.
And stuff to make up for the damage that was done.
Yep.
Avoiding the basement.
Do bits and pieces of things, like larger pieces of wood you can't really mend, but you can sort of do small pots and things that are broken and that sort of thing, and slowly bring Gildy's house back to a reasonable place.
While she's doing that, Gildy's gonna be manually tidying things as well.
Yeah, I will say that most likely, so Gildy, Mint, and probably Leon or Jacob, sort of whichever one of you is smaller, could have probably stayed in the loft area the previous night, because there's sort of 3 little sleeping areas set up there. I don't know if Gildy would want others in her room or not, but the main bedroom is actually a larger area if there was others who wanted to sleep inside. The main living area is a bit treacherous with holes all over the place, so I'm guessing no one would be sleeping in there.
Well, and it's actually, it doesn't, I'm like, it's decent weather, but it's like, it doesn't matter. I would just go outside, create tiny hut, meditate for 4 hours in there, and then come back out and do things.
Yeah. Do we want to patch the house, for example, the roof, before we leave?
That might be a thing to do.
Talon feels somewhat responsible for that.
I thought we were just going to burn it to the ground. I'm pretty sure I remember something about that.
Guilty
I remember
glares
us-
at Jacob.
I remember us talking you out of it again and again and again.
Anybody here have experienced thatching roofs?
I mean, presumably funds had built this house.
Yes, yeah. So just getting some more thatch and sort of restructuring in some of the beams and putting that on there is probably about a good, I'd say, half a day's work, just to cover sort of the one hole that's there.
Leon lends her mage hand and unseen servant.
There you go.
To the tasks.
Yep. Anything else people want to do while that's happening sort of in the morning of this, so the 8th day of Teora?
I think I'm good to head back whenever.
All right.
I'll fix what people want me to fix and then go back.
All right. So yeah, you patched up the roof. We'll say that during that time, maybe there was sort of a little bit of, a couple other people sort of helping out with the, putting some planks down on the floor and that sort of thing. But so the house is livable in that the roof is covered and not trespassable. Traversable. So some of the floors is at least sort of patched up.
No more
enough.
gaping holes.
Yeah.
It's not a game of Frogger going through the kitchen.
All right, and you head out probably around midday and head back to Silver Lake. It's about a 2.5-day journey on horseback. Would you like to try and speed that up to make it about a 2-day journey by traveling quicker?
Not if it means I fall on my bum.
No, it just means you're probably not keeping an eye out around you as much, or foraging for food. I believe are the sort of the things that generally fall off if you're traveling quicker.
Given we're heading back to somewhere where we've had conflict with people, perhaps not watching our surroundings is a better choice. Getting used to a new horse, so probably not pushing it too much.
All right. All right. So travel goes uneventfully, and 2.5 days later, so 8th, 9th, at the end of the day on the 10th, you arrive back at the gates, the south gates of Silver Lake. Well, wherever you would like to arrive in or around Silver Lake, without actually being inside yet. If you wanted to sort of stop before and camp outside for the night, you could do that. How do you want to approach the city? I know there'd been some discussion about this.
We have horses that don't belong to us, but belonged to people who lived here. So I'm concerned about somebody going horse thieves. And I don't know if the rest of you are concerned about this.
Unless you've got like a really identifiable horse.
Perhaps the one Torok is riding.
You took the biggest one, didn't you?
Well, it fits.
You're supposed to be my dragonborn steed. What is this?
You ride me, I ride the horse. It's the way of the world.
They have name tags.
even that one is just, it's sort of a significant large warhorse, heavy warhorse sort of thing. It's not going to be, well, actually it's not even a heavy warhorse, just probably a heavy riding horse. It's not going to be super out of place. There's other heavy horses around. So if you're particularly concerned about that, you could, try and sell them outside the city to, farmer and that sort of thing. But otherwise,
yeah, if we think it's safe,
most of the people who rode these horses are dead now.
No one will notice your horses. They'll all be staring at my glorious phantom steed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I missed it. So, but we have some of them with us, don't we?
No, they left the previous day. So they, since you did not travel quickly, they would have gotten here a little. Actually, they would have been walking, not riding necessarily. So you probably would have passed them on the road. So, yeah.
Insult to injury.
Yeah, that wouldn't be awkward at all.
3-ish days behind you, given sort of walking speed versus riding speed.
All right.
Hi there. Going our way?
I mean, if they were walking on the main road.
Yeah. So, how would you like to go into the city? I know potentially Talon had some thoughts about sort of approaching things a little bit more cautiously. What are...
I almost wonder if we shouldn't separate and go in logical groupings into the city, but there's also strength in numbers, and I think it's easier if we all just keep track of Jacob and not let him get too far ahead of the rest of us.
As we approach the city, I've decided Edgar's heart is one of the corner cubes of my Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
And so as we approach the city, just so I don't draw attention to myself so far as an artificer, though I think with all the adventure we've been going on, I'm getting a little more cocky about this, that I can really take care of myself. But for the time being, kind of folds into the corner cube that I put back into my Rubik's Cube for now.
Nice. All right.
So yeah, so if we want...
And what trouble? I don't...
No trouble.
I resemble that remark.
Arsonist. Sorry, what?
At least Torok would leave it up to those who are familiar with the city on the best way to approach it, but splitting up the party tends to...
Friends, who would like to go gambling?
Knocking Jacob out is always...
Just a quick game.
You don't have to knock him out, just sit on him.
He casts fire.
You breathe lightning.
I've got a burning case of
Still not fire.
So, we're standing outside the city gates discussing
Fire
How to
lightning.
go inside the city gates. And Jacob, sitting on Jacob.
Leon is looking around, waiting for someone to come up and be like, "We need your help. There's a village being attacked."
Nope. Not today.
No, Leon
So Gildy
legit
turned.
looking around, waiting for someone to come asking for assistance.
Are all your villages okay?
Gildy turns to Talon and says, "How long will it take you to bring the statue to the syndicate?"
If I were to bring it in, I could, assuming there's no one stopping me, I could probably get it there within about 15.
Should
Okay.
I go with you?
Yeah. Do you want company? Protection, maybe?
Because I don't think I need protection, but I don't think it'd be a bad thing to go together. I mean, when we get to the gates, if anyone comes asking, I'll be asking to speak to my contact.
Leon, did you have a run-in with the syndicate? Or was it just those guys that we met at Gildy's place?
Oh, it's just those individuals.
Yep.
Those are the only folks that I have had any dealings with.
Okay, so we're probably all safe to go together to the syndicate.
I will not be accompanying you.
What? Why?
Because my family
Leon.
tends down upon associating with criminal organizations.
I thought you were pretending to not be part of your family right now.
I am. However, I still live by the code of my family.
This is a code thing.
Yes.
Well, yes.
Uh,
I think.
so
if-
where would
No, go ahead.
where would we meet up with you then? Do you want to signal?
or place.
We've got the stone things. We can talk to each other.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
You do have to be within
Don't
120 feet
pairing-
of each other.
Oh, yeah, that's not a super long distance, is it?
So, I'm thinking that I will visit the House of Wands. I will undoubtedly also visit the Minstrel's Muse. And I may also look into seeing, there was discussion about perhaps finding people to come with us. So I may look into whether there are individuals in town who wish to accompany us on our noble quest.
So it is late in the day. It's probably sort of after nightfall.
The House of Wands is closed.
Yeah, probably if you're going anywhere for today, it's probably to the Minstrel's Muse, if you're sort of getting a room there. And then the next day you could sort of look for the other things. So if the others are going to go directly to the Syndicate, you could meet them there afterwards.
At the Muse. All right.
Are you going to meet your associates at this hour, or were you going?
They would be working at this hour.
Prime time. No, I think it would be best, and Leon, if you would like to meet up with us later, I understand that. But perhaps it's best if I maybe put word to have the Syndicate meet us somewhere, maybe not too far from where they are, but they might not appreciate me bringing everyone to one of their locations.
Yes.
Yeah, Gildy says, I think that we're probably too many. Alphonse and I will go with Leon, since I think the rest of you will be quite sufficient if any problems were to happen while you are trying to do this.
I suggest they meet us at the casino.
No.
Now, wasn't it at the casino that you were abducted?
Rumors.
From you? Aren't rumors from the person involved not rumors?
No.
All right.
All right. So
when we say in this case
is
that
unassailable.
when we say in this game that it came straight from the horse's mouth, we do not mean the phantom steed, Jacob. We mean the actual Jacob for whom the phantom steed has their namesake from. So, Jacob, you're not gambling in the same halls that had a whole crowd of people after you.
There are 2 different casinos here.
Like, they won't be scoping out the other one. It's like, he could go back to the same one,
What are
or
the
he could
chances?
go to t'other one.
It's been, days?
50-50. Those are the
Weeks since
chances.
we've
There's
been
2
here.
casinos. 50-50. I don't like those odds.
No, but we have been gone for some time. However, you bring up a good point, and maybe Jacob should actually travel in some sort of disguise.
Are you good at disguises,
Well,
Jacob?
I was considering an alter self spell, but it only lasts an hour.
You can gamble in an hour.
yeah, if you
Time
wanted to go
limit?
gamble for a little bit and then meet others at the Muse, you could do that.
I wasn't suggesting encouraging gambling. I was merely meaning as we walk around town, in case those individuals happen to see him again.
Oh, what are the chances?
50-50. Been over the math.
All right, so it sounds like Gildy, Alphonse, and Leon are heading to the Muse. Talon, Mint, and Tor are heading to talk to some of Talon's contacts, and Jacob is a bit of a wild card at the moment.
I'll go with Talon.
All right. So, for sort of fairly quick summary, for Leon, Gildy, and Alphonse, you use Gildy's pass to get into the inner city, and are able to get to the Muse mostly unmolested. The only real person you encounter along the way is a rather innocent-looking child who sort of comes up to Gildy and sort of tugs on a sleeve. They're actually, being a child, they're probably only slightly smaller than you are, and it's just like, excuse me, miss, do you have any spare coins you could spare for someone who's got so little?
Gildy gives them a silver.
Okay.
Leon gives the child a very, 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 very wide berth.
Leon, since you're paying so close attention, you can give me a perception check.
All right. And of course, Ranu is also paying close attention, because that's how I roll now. Now that I'm in the city, Ranu is watching me constantly. I would say like a hawk, but Ranu's an owl, so.
Like an owl. Doesn't have quite the same ring as.
Exactly. That's why I didn't say it. All right. Hold on. I haven't set up my dice roller. I apologize.
That's okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So you notice. So Gildy sort of takes out a little purse and gives the child a silver, and his eyes go really big. And then Gildy puts that away, and as they're turning, the child is definitely trying to take that purse.
So I cast Gust and blow the child 5 feet away from Gildy. Just a little poof. So the child is like, oh, and suddenly 5 feet away.
I am not regretting my choice of who I went with.
All right.
Gildy looks, she's a little startled by it, but she kind of puts 2 and 2 together, and she looks at Leon and she says, thank you.
I mean, they get a strength 16 saving throw. I would love it if the child is like, and it's fine.
Resist.
Exactly.
No, they are blown head over heels.
No. I don't blow them head over heels. I just.
It's a gust.
They're small. They're blown back, and they
just
run
just
off with
pushed.
their silver and are otherwise.
I'm hoping they don't roll a 1 and have their neck snapped.
They're just pushed. They're just pushed up to 5 feet away.
Their kidneys went 7 feet away. That might be a problem later in life.
I don't push them into a pit of lava.
Gentle child pushing. I see. That's what we've got.
Meanwhile,
That's
unbeknownst to Leon and group, someone was casting bowl of lava.
Going off to their friends right behind.
Yes. But otherwise, you get to the Muse unmolested and are able to secure some dinner or rooms. For the others, Talon, yes, you're aware of sort of a couple different locations where you could sort of meet contacts. Potentially, the easiest way to sort of get the scuttlebutt on what's been going on in the city is potentially to talk to Carl. But if you wanted to just sort of go straight somewhere else, you could do that too.
It's not a bad idea. So Talon suggests that we find some kind of a pub or similar that's reasonably close to one of this, kind of syndicate touch points, whatever. And says that he's going to be back in about 20 minutes. And then, he will go in search of Carl in sort of the usual places.
Yep.
And if you can find Carl, great. And if not, he will just proceed to the syndicate. But
yep, that's sort of usually this sort of time of the month or this time of the day, he's sort of in sort of one of 2 or 3 places. You check those out and are able to find Carl. Probably as a bit of a refuse bin in an alley. Yeah.
Okay. Talon is kind of like look around, make sure there's no one else listening or seeing, and just says, "Hello, Carl."
Refuse bin, in the way that refuse bins often do, with a little lid popping up. It's like,
like a murdering container.
Yeah. Hi, Talon. What's up?
Oh, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, I heard you were you part of that group that did the thing and then left, and there was like the statue or something?
So it turns out that well, I haven't told the syndicate yet, but I'm about to go find them. That Morgan did take the statue.
Oh, okay.
And so I had to chase them, and eventually was able to find them, and I brought the statue back.
All right.
Before I went and found Mordecai, I thought I'd check in with you and see, if anything's been happening or anything I should be concerned about before I do.
Well, there's I've got an unstable internet connection. We'll see if I glitch. So yeah, Carl's like, well, there was some hubbub going on. There were some people definitely sort of looking around the city for a while for Morgan and whatever was going on. And well, Yeah, a bunch of people left the city, heading somewhere. I think maybe they had a lead. But I haven't heard anything since then. Kayans is still all angry and, messing with everybody. But yeah, Syndicate's been mostly calm and trying to ignore her.
So I'm trying to find my little notes here. No, there you go. The people who left, was that Kvatch?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. He found us. It was an awkward situation, but he's on his way back to the city. He should be here in a few days.
All right.
He came looking for the statue, but we brought it back instead.
Oh, you've got it.
Yes.
Nice. Did you have to off Morgan?
No. But Morgan understands the situation, and he will not be. They will not be returning back to the city.
Yeah. That's probably safest. Good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know how you plan on getting it back to them, but yeah, I mean, probably any of the usual haunts are a good place to start.
Yes. Well, I've made some friends, and we'll be returning it together. Hopefully, the syndicate will appreciate, the openness of that gesture, and not, decide to pursue Morgan any further.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Well, best luck, folks, person, wherever you are.
Pronouns are hard. Well, it's good to see you, Carl. I'm sure we'll see you around before we go.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna head out again soon?
I think so. The friends I met, it looks like we might try and do some good in the Shadow Forest.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, best of luck, and yeah, definitely drop by before you head out.
I will. Thank you. And with that, Talon will go off and try to find the syndicate in one of the usual haunts.
All right. So yeah, you're going to go there before getting the group back together.
So, well, the group, I think, as it stands, is now going to be like Jacob, Tor, Mint, I guess, us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're at some pub or somewhere.
Yep.
I'll basically go to the syndicate and just say that I'm here, and yeah, basically I'll just tell them that I'd like to meet with Mordai if possible and where I'll be, and
all right,
just leave it at that.
All right. So you go back and meet up with the others. It probably takes about an hour. It's getting a bit later at night before Mordai shows up. That said, this is sort of prime time, probably at the tavern that you're at. Things are quite busy, and so assuming sort of just square room, tables all over the place. He just pushes through the crowd, and there's 4 of you. Probably snags a chair out from under somebody else and sort of sits down at your table.
Just for setting, just double checking with Jacob. Did Jacob put on that alter form spell? How did that turn out? If it was done?
No, I'm not. I don't think I would do that just yet.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I'm feeling a little more cocky, but
okay.
All right. Yeah. So
Colin said it, but to set the stage, he won't say too much. But he will mention that Mordai is likely the one who will come and meet us, and Mordai is my contact with this group. Yeah. And I won't.
So yes, for the rest of you, a tiefling approaches, sort of dark red skin with sort of almost red-black hair, and sort of 2 sort of horns that sort of come out from the top and just sort of curve back and then up a little bit. And yeah, snags a chair out and sits at your table and sort of, puts both arms on, looks across at Tal and says, here you wanted to see me.
Sorry, before we do this, I should confirm that we did get the statue out of the bag of holding and now we have it, given Leon is now not
Right.
with us.
I will say yes, that since we're planning on giving it back, you have done that.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'll assume maybe Town has it in the bag or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, what did Mordai say?
I heard you wanted to see me.
Yes. I as you know, before I left, I went off looking for Morgan, assuming that they stole that item. But he says it kind of quietly to make sure no one around can hear. And the rumors were correct. Morgan did take it, and with the help of some, new acquaintances, we were able to track down Morgan, and somehow, like, in a covered sort of way, we'll kind of put the statue sort of on the table such that, like, it's not shown, but he could check, lift a flap or something.
Yeah.
That it's like, and we were able to return or retrieve the item.
Yeah. Mordai just sort of raises an eyebrow and it's like, all right, put that away. I don't want to, anybody around here to see that. Start a whole riot. So what's your plan then?
I wanted to make sure it got returned to, Hiensha. But I wanted to do it properly and in such a way that would allow Morgan to be free, with the understanding that Morgan will not be returning to the city.
You let Morgan live when you got it, huh?
I could not do it. And I, Gildy assisted as well in tracking down Morgan, and it would not have been right.
Yeah, Kayans is not going to like that. She really wanted to, catch that thief and torture them for a really long time. But we might be able to convince her to let all that go if we just give the statue back. We'll see. You just gonna hand it over to me?
Well, I was hoping to maybe hand it over with you. That is acceptable.
Yeah, we can do that. And your friends here, they gonna come along?
If you think it's appropriate.
We'd have to make it in a slightly more public location, or at least not the actual syndicate headquarters. We wouldn't want outsiders knowing where that is now, would we?
No.
So, all right, I'll arrange something. Stay here. I'll return in about an hour, and I'll let you know where we're going.
Sounds good. We'll be here.
All right. Anybody who wants to, before Mordai leaves, can make an insight check.
I want to. Woohoo!
Nice.
I am not paying attention today.
Yeah. It's also not bad, but yeah. 19.
Ooh.
All right. So yeah, Mint, you definitely get a sense of a couple of things from Mordai. Number one, I mean, this guy's pretty, slick figure to begin with. You just got a general sense from him that you wouldn't trust most of what he says. And specifically talking about the statue, you got the sense that he wanted Talon to hand it over so he could return it personally. He's not particularly fond of the idea of returning it with Talon, but potentially we'll still sort of honor that arrangement. And otherwise, he's a little curious and skeptical about sort of this new group of friends that Talon seems to have acquired, and what that might mean. So And for Torak, you probably get a good chunk of that as well, just in terms of this guy's pretty slippery, you don't want to trust him, definitely wanted to return it on his own, and is just a little bit skeptical of sort of all of you at the moment.
My concern is that just Talon, in concerns of your syndicate friend here, he might convince himself in that hour that you're not finishing the job with Morgan, so to speak, might afford him enough of a clue or indication, as well as having new friends that aren't members of the syndicate, that perhaps you've turned traitor, and he may want to rally some friends to meet us here, not give us a location of where we're going, but just finish us, take the statue, and have him deliver it himself. Because he really seemed to want to be the one who would get all the kudos for returning the statue. I'm just hoping that when they return, they don't decide to start a fight. How prone do you think he is to such swings of mood?
Mordai's typically been very trusting of me, but he is also a member of the syndicate, which means he is most loyal to himself and the syndicate second. So it is possible that he might try to do as you suggest and try to take all the credit. My hopes in returning the statue with the message that, Morgan ideally is to be left alone, coming from me, will help them understand that, I could not do it, but that Morgan's punishment is such, perhaps not justified to them, but that the returning of the statue will be the most important thing.
I wonder, just because of wording, we haven't truly expressed yet that Morgan is indisposed, that Morgan is no longer a threat, that Morgan is essentially imprisoned. And that hasn't been conveyed to them. All that's been conveyed is that you could not finish Morgan off. And that makes you sound potentially weak to a syndicate that is used to getting their hands dirty. So maybe just conveying when he returns, if we have that opportunity, just to really stress that Morgan is not a threat to them and that Morgan's been dealt with. It might not have been a killing blow, but Morgan is now changed. Not entirely, but we're working.
Yeah.
This makes sense. I would do as you suggest.
We should also make sure that the item is secure when they return.
Perhaps.
I almost feel we should not have it on our person before they return.
Yeah. Yes. Tom's going to say, perhaps one of you should carry the item?
Actually, Tarak looks over at Jacob. Can your friend hold it aloft?
That's really, really dangerous.
My friend.
Your bat friend.
Oh, actually, I was thinking of they've seen me now. I could, just before the meeting, alter myself to be someone else, kind of sit into the bar somewhere, and then when everything's safe, you can call me over.
That's clever. I like that.
Yes.
All right. Is anyone here, I know you're not rogues, but maybe from a background or something else, familiar with the Thieves' Cant?
Thieves can't what?
Tell
Jump?
the truth?
Dance? I don't know.
White thieves can't jump.
Exactly. All right. So about an hour later, Jacob, you've gone to sit sort of somewhere else.
And before they come in, but knowing that they're going to, and maybe I should ask you how this works. So the tomes that I have, how does that work? Is it like a fairly, can I activate it, or do I need to take time before it kind of becomes?
No, you need to sort of take it out and flip through it a little bit, but you essentially activate it sort of as an action. It doesn't take any significant.
then while we're waiting, I will have the book ready and open, and I see them come in. I will take that moment as they enter.
Yep. All right.
Rob,
yep.
did they tell us where? Like, does Group Beta know where Group Alpha is going to be, or Alpha Team and Beta Team? Does Beta Team know where Alpha Team is going to be?
I think they know where you are. You're going to be at the Muse, but I don't think you were told where they are.
Okay. Because I just didn't know if they told us the original place that they were going, that then they were going to meet somewhere else later.
I think we all agreed to meet at the Muse to catch each other up after Talon made contact with the syndicate. So would now be the time for us to regroup before we meet them again at this bar?
Well, you're meeting them in the same place, right? So you just need to wait here for an hour. But if you wanted to send someone running in and back, you could do that.
Like just to run to the Muse to say, this is where we're at. And
yep.
I'm really fast. I volunteer as tribute. All right. I activate my boots and I dash off to the Minstrel's Muse, unless it's close enough that I don't have to waste the bolt.
The bolt?
Well, not bolt, the charge. That's what I meant to say.
It's about this point as you're reaching the gate towards the inner city, and you're stopped by guards. That you remember, Gildy has this nice pass that gets her in and out of the inner city. You can get in, but I believe it costs you. Let me sort of double check. I've got a sheet pulled up here. I think it's about 20 gold is the going price to get into the inner city.
That's steep.
I'll ask some of them to reimburse me since I volunteered to make this trip, but yeah, I'll pay it for now. It was 20
gold piece charge to enter. Bribes can work too.
Is the Minstrel's Muse 120 feet away from the gate to the inner city?
It's probably 120 feet away from the north gate, but that's probably not where she's coming from. She's probably coming from the east gate. So, yeah.
All right. Just because, right? The message stones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. If I'm close enough, I don't even have to pay.
But it sounds like you're not.
I'm going to just pay it. That's kind of where I was going, is I got stopped by guards. It would be kind of weird to excuse me while I pull up my stone. Hi, guys. How are you? Can you meet me at so place? No, I'm just gonna pay it.
All right. And you dash into the city. It's easy enough to get there in time. I'm assuming the others will still be sort of in the common room of the Muse unless they have otherwise gone up to bed, and you can otherwise get their attention.
Okay. I go looking for them in the Minstrel's Muse. Who do I find first?
Probably me. I mean, I'm the tallest.
You are very tall, and you certainly stand out. Yeah. Hi, Leon. I have news. So Talon has met with the syndicate, and we are... Oh, I probably shouldn't be this loud.
Probably not.
Momentary lapse. All right. Pardon me. Let's go somewhere more discreet to talk and make sure we're not followed. And to where is everyone else? Totally embarrassed.
My trust in this endeavor has just plummeted ever so slightly.
Sorry, I got stopped by guards and I was running at full speed and then I couldn't. And anyway, I'm sorry.
Is Gildy also in the common room still?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, you all sort of just step outside into the quiet night, and can otherwise relay the information she has.
I look around to make sure no one's listening in, or I'm going to sock them. I'm
would
in
you like to make a perception check, or just?
Yeah, I'm in a mood now.
All right.
I'm definitely going to look around as well.
Okay.
Actually, I'll have Ranu look around because I believe Ranu has advantage. So.
Yay. Yeah, I didn't do it. Oh, you did much better.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's probably better that you find somebody since I'm ready to throw punches already.
Yeah.
My own embarrassment.
Yeah, Ranu takes a look around. There are 3 people that are probably within earshot, uncertain as to whether they are specifically loitering around hoping to hear information or just happen to be out in the night. One of them does seem to be specifically hidden in a shadow that you are able to see. and it's probably the closest of the three of them. You can just go somewhere else and see what happens.
Yeah. What do you say, Leon? You know what Ranu's telling you.
It's probably safest if we just go somewhere else. Maybe we could go into one of our rooms, which I was thinking we would do at first, rather than going out into the public.
All right. Had you acquired rooms by this point?
I go and acquire a room.
All right.
Gildy wouldn't have done that because she still has like the place that she was living previously.
And also, if you, depending, it's late at night, but your daughter also lives in the inner city as well. So, yeah. All right. So, yes, you go up to a room, sort of close yourself in. You're fairly certain no one is going to be hearing you here.
Okay. I'm going to leave Ranu outside watching those people. And Ranu will tell me if they do anything nefarious.
All right. Yeah, Ranu does not contact you. They do not seem to be doing anything of note at the moment.
Okay.
All right. So we ended up meeting with the syndicate at the bar, and we have a plan for how to do handoff of the statue. Just Torok and I both didn't feel completely comfortable with the point of contact. He seems to be kind of a sly fellow and seems to be a glory seeker. And we worry about Talon's well-being as well as our own at this point, since Talon wants to introduce us to the syndicate as his good friends. Would like to have all of us there at the bar when they come back within the hour. And the idea is, since Jacob has just learned how to alter his visage, that he will disguise himself, since he has already met this fellow in his natural guise. So he'll look different, but have the statue on his person. And then when it's time to do the trade-off, if things seem on the up and up, then Jacob can come over, reveal who he really is, and present the statue.
All right.
So what will happen if things go badly?
I would like to have all of us there in case things go badly and just be prepared. Because he doesn't know our exact numbers, but at the same time he might guess. I get the impression that they know a little bit of what might have been going on the road, but I don't know how much they actually know.
Okay. Would Gildy have any would Gildy know whether or not the syndicate knew what she looked like? Like, as
given what you
Morgan's
know,
mother?
Yeah, given what you know of the syndicate and how sort of pervasive they are, you would assume that they have some sense for who you are and what you might look like.
I'm picturing Alphonse and Gildy sitting at a table, both wearing fake beards.
They're not dwarves.
No, but that would totally change the way they look.
Okay.
What?
So Gildy says, I'm happy to be there for support. I think that they would know what I look like. I can disguise myself with a spell for up to an hour. Gildy looks at Alphonse and says, do you have such a spell, dear?
What does Alphonse have?
All these people who know to disguise themselves.
Alphonse does not have a way to disguise himself.
But Alphonse has been gone for a couple of years.
Yeah. They might, but they probably wouldn't know what Alphonse looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's true. And it's not like there's internet or photographs. Okay, so Gildy, right after asking that question, Gildy says, oh, how silly of me. You've been gone for so long. They probably wouldn't know what you look like anyways. Never mind.
You're not important, dear. No one knows you.
I know Leon wouldn't have really said that.
No.
But funny.
So to both Leon and Alphonse, Gildy says, it's probably best if we go support them in case things go south.
What that could help is a spell that would essentially help make some of you just a little harder to detect, sort of help you hide in a crowd, that sort of thing, make one part of the tavern just a little bit darker, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
How well, Gildy, are you familiar with this establishment that they're meeting in?
I would say Gildy has heard of it, probably never been there. It's on sort of the rougher side of things.
Are there other establishments nearby?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of, taverns all over the alleys of the city.
Okay. Oh, but it is rougher.
Yeah.
Rougher part of town.
See, I didn't even want to go in. I was gonna give Alphonse, clearly the druid, my owl, and then I would go somewhere else. Which I guess I could still do.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I could, because I could be on the roof somewhere.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
I'm not gonna go inside unless I need to. So yes, on the way there, I set it up with Alphonse, so he's gonna have his owl because he's a druid. And then I'm going to just go like across the street and up and wait and just basically sit on the rooftop, just basically.
So should I introduce Alphonse as Leon then?
No.
No? Just as Alphonse and his owl.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a druid.
So just for a
Do
bit
you
of
need
fun.
to introduce us? Wait, for
There's
what?
that too.
I think part of it might be because we will be heading into the Shadow Forest next, and I think Talon wants to make it apparent to the syndicate that that's where he's going, that he wants to introduce his friends.
True, but he doesn't necessarily introduce all of you. You could sort of be interspersed
So,
with
yeah,
Yeah, so probably we don't all of us need to be there for that.
Yeah. I was thinking that like Gildy and Alphonse would just kind of like be two people who walk into the bar a little bit after Mint comes back, and they're just over in a corner, like ready to help, but not part of the group.
Yeah.
Sounds fair.
Two bearded halflings just
Yes.
hanging out.
So, Leon, you get to the roof of the building, sort of to give yourself a good vantage point of this other tavern.
What's the weather like?
What's the weather like?
Yeah.
That's a nice night. It's late fall or mid-fall, but you're also in a warmer climate, so it's not that bad.
I was honestly kind of hoping that it was raining because then I could use my spell and just be sitting up there with the umbrella, not getting wet, and it would be awesome.
Yep.
You don't stand out at all.
I'm on a rooftop. I'm sitting on a rooftop.
So you get up to the rooftop, and there's somebody perched there who sort of looks over at you and sort of, wide-eyed for a moment, is like, "Oh, are you gonna use this? I can go somewhere else."
Oh no, that's fine. I'm perfectly happy to share this rooftop with you.
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll take this side. And he
Okay.
goes over to the other edge of the roof.
Hilarious.
And I just sit down, looking like I'm just having a pleasant evening.
Sitting on the roof.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little while later, is a group of about. I'm not sure if anybody's told you what Mordai looks like. So, a group of about 10-ish people that approach the entrance to the tavern and go in. One of them being a tiefling.
Okay.
You think maybe this could be something, or maybe not. It's around about the right time for when the contact should be arriving.
Okay. Ranu stirs a
Okay.
just gives Ranu the message to just kind of be like kind of thing, so that they'll be like, "Oh, is that something?" And then Ranu can kind of rotate their head and stare directly into Gildy's soul.
All right. Alphonse did not take speak with animals today. He has speak with plants prepared, but not speak with animals. So, yeah. All right. So the rest of you can all make perception checks to see what do you notice as. And I added some music. I'm not sure if people are hearing that okay. There's supposed to be some...
No.
When we
Right
stop
now we
talking,
cannot
we
hear
hear it, but when we start talking, the music goes away.
All right, I've upped the volume on it a little bit, and I'll bring the music back since we're now back in the tavern.
Although it does say you're sharing again.
Yeah. There we go. I'll keep
There we go.
that level. All right. Yeah, I don't want it to be overpowering, but hopefully you can hear something. All right. So we have some perception checks. 17, 16, 18, no, 17, 16, 20, and 15. Okay.
We can hear it when you talk, but when we talk, it stops.
Well. Oh, all right.
Nice tunes for a rough bar.
No, it's just funny how we talk and it just stops and it starts again, stops and it starts again because we're laughing at the fact that it's stopping. At least that's why I'm laughing.
And because you're
So-
laughing, it keeps stopping.
Exactly.
What you notice, so Mint, you rolled the highest. You can pretty much see that, yeah, Mordai returns and has a group of about sort of 10 people with him. They're relatively nondescript and they sort of quickly filter into the crowd. You lose sight of a couple of them, but I get the sense that they're probably around. But you definitely got at least a good look at a few of them, and sort of if you're looking around, you can sort of try and spot them bits and pieces. Jacob, again, you probably got the crowd coming in, but then sort of lost them after that. Same with Talon and Turok. Probably, yeah, you only noticed about half of the group coming in. They did sort of come in a little bit staggered. So, yeah. You know that Mordai has returned, and there are others with Mordai. Mordai comes to your table, sort of quickly looks around, sees the empty chair where one was, raises an eyebrow, but sits down. Like, well, here's the thing. I had me a long conversation with myself while I was out there, and I'm not entirely sure I want to return the statue with you. I'd just much prefer if you handed it over. I could return it. We'd smooth everything over with the syndicate, and it sounds like you want to go your own way anyway. You could just go and do that. How does that sound?
Like a poor life choice, Turok says.
For
I
who?
pat Torok on the shoulder. Good boy.
So yeah, Talon just kind of leans on the table as well and says, "That was not the arrangement."
True.
Um,
Wasn't.
For 1 second, time out for 1 second, Rob.
Yeah.
So when these fellows arrived,
Yeah.
did the other person on the roof respond to them at all?
No.
So they don't seem to be here to do with that. And they are not paying attention to me and they don't seem like a threat?
Nope.
Okay, then when Ranu lets me know that a group has come and is talking to them, I'm switching out my perception so that I'm now perceiving and aware of everything that's being said and happening inside the inn.
Okay.
And then I'll for short bursts, and then I'll kind of pop back, take a look at him, make sure he's not there, pop back. You know what I mean? So I'm not at his mercy kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, so what you're seeing through Ranu at the moment, again, is you can sort of, you see them come in, you see some of them sort of filter through, you lose track of some of them because it's, crowded tavern. But yeah, Ranu seems to sort of be keeping an eye out as well.
Okay. Well, and I'm particularly concerned about the conversation that's happening with Talon.
That will be harder to sort of observe and hear because, again, Gildy and Alphonse are a little further away. They're sort of just keeping an eye on things from the side. So, in terms of the conversation, Mordai sort of, takes a look at you. No, that wasn't the agreement. Obviously, you've got some friends here. I don't know if you noticed, I brought a few of my own.
Okay.
So, convince me.
Well, certainly
I know
as
you've got the statue at the moment, and maybe you say,
That's funny.
what?
We don't have the statue. at the moment. You can
Oh.
search us.
He gets up and starts to walk away.
Town just says, wait,
Turns around.
says, as you know, you brought me into this.
Yeah.
By my returning the statue, it will reflect well on you that I have done as asked, and sought out the statue and returned it. So certainly this will look favorably upon you as well as me.
And he sort of looks around at the three and is like, but do you have it or not? I saw it earlier.
It's around.
Yeah, okay. Sits back down again.
I am not trying to cut you out. I am simply wanting to make the message clear that when it is returned, that the suggested conditions upon the return is that Morgan is to be left alone. Morgan has been effectively imprisoned. Morgan will not be returning to the city. And the statue is returned back to the owner as requested.
In prison, you say?
In a manner of speaking.
That's an interesting one. Talon, give me an insight check.
Hello?
He's calling. Everyone I know is here. No.
He's phoning a friend.
That's right.
All right, so insight of 16. Oh yeah. So you get the distinct sense. It's not so much that, Moradai is, well, specifically knowing what you know about Mordai, he's all about sort of money and what he can get out of people and what he can get out of, whatever the city can offer him. You're thinking he's expecting a reward for bringing this back, and he doesn't want to share it.
Gotcha. All right, so tell him to say, if you're expecting a reward, I was not intending on asking for one. My reward was simply to leave Morgan alone, and that is payment clear. However, I could ask for a certain amount of recompense for the trouble of returning it, and whatever is offered, I will happily pass on to you.
Give me a persuasion check.
I think at roughly at that time, there's a little lady sitting at the bar who just choked on her ale.
Can I roll insight to see if I see through Jacob's disguise at that moment?
No, you're pretty sure that's Jacob. You don't
Okay, don't even have to roll.
And nobody chokes on their ale like Jacob.
Especially when money is concerned.
Yeah. All right, that's a nice, good persuasion check. So he sort of ponders that for a moment. Like, all right, you seem like you're on the level. You just want to make it clear that you did this, but you don't otherwise want to get anything out of it. Sort of shakes his head, like, sometimes I really don't understand you, Talon. I really don't. But that works for me. All right. Come on, follow me. And wherever the statue is, let's bring it along.
All right. Talon just kind of looks about the room and, okay, question about the message stones.
Yes.
Do I need to speak verbally or is it all mental?
You do need to speak. You can whisper.
Okay.
It will come across clearly to to all of the other stones.
Okay. So yeah, Talon will. Do you have to reach into a pocket and touch it to make it work?
I thought you had to whisper into the stone.
You sort of have to,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Think of it like a walkie-talkie.
Okay. Then yeah. So Talon will kind of nod to Mordai, who I'm assuming will get up. So as doing so, Talon will kind of reach into his pocket and grab the little stone, and just say that I believe everything is okay. We will now be going to meet with. Is the understanding that we're going to meet with
Kienza?
Kienza?
Yep.
Am I saying it wrong? Is it Kienza or Kiencha?
Kai Insa.
Kienza. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'll just say
Alright.
that. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
All right. So yeah, he sort of heads for the door. You notice sort of a couple people that sort of filter through the crowd and head out with him. What do the rest of you do?
I will follow close behind Talon.
Okay.
Orok, you too, I assume. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep my disguise on for a bit, but I will kind of make it look like I'm kind of leaving coincidentally at the same time.
Yep.
And I don't want to draw attention to the old lady.
And
yeah, Gildy is probably going to stay put. She's not confident that she and Alphonse can like sneak convincingly, and Talon sounded pretty sure that things were going to be fine. So they'll probably hang out and maybe head back to the minstrel's rooms.
All right. So that means, yeah, for Leon looking through Ranu, you can see sort of people get up and start to leave, but the Ranu does not.
Right.
And so.
But then Talon has also sent a message to the message stone.
Yep.
Yes. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't remember who ended up with one. So yeah, there you go. And you can see the people starting to come out. It's a group of sort of 3 or 4 come out, then sort of the rest of the party does, and then sort of this old lady and sort of a couple others that sort of come out after them. It is a bit awkward as you come out in this group, and there's another sort of group that comes up behind you. These aren't thugs. They're not, guys who are sort of, carrying clubs and look like they're going to, take whatever you have and run away. They're all sort of nondescript folks. They might try and steal what you have, but otherwise, yeah, they're sort of roughly surrounding you. None of them are getting too close. They get the sense that they know that they might try and steal things from you, so they're going to try and otherwise, yeah, sort of keep their distance. But yeah, you start moving as a group through the city. Leon, what would you like to do? Are you going to try and follow them?
Yeah, I'd like Ranu to follow them, except people aren't. But Ranu's stuck in the tavern.
If
True, but you can talk to Ranu and just tell him to fly away.
Yeah. I mean, I also have the message stone, and I believe Gildy does as well. So I could just be like,
oh,
hey,
yeah, that's fair.
can you release my familiar, please?
There you go.
I mean, I think technically I can just make Ranu disappear and then reappear with me.
Yep.
So I could theoretically just do that, which I might just do.
I have a question about the message stones.
Sure.
When we hear the message, like how loud is it? Could other people around us hear it coming out of the stone?
Yep. It is meant just for the owner of the stone. No one else can hear it.
It's like attuned to us, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the message spell is you can't overhear people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so like Gildy is going to say into the stone, Leon, sounds like Talon has this handled. We're going to go back to the Muse. I will release Ranu. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Alphonse will figure it out.
Ranu disappears.
There you
I
go.
did it.
And then Ranu reappears with me. And I say, against my better judgment, I think I may actually follow them.
Follow that tiefling.
Okay. Like you or Ranu?
Well, both.
Oh dear.
Love it.
So,
and sorry, with me falling kind of in behind, I'm going to use my message cantrip just to every 30 seconds or so send a message to Talon and just let him know. Let me know when you want. I'll be sending this every 30 seconds. Let me know when I need to appear, and just so that's I'll ping that every once in a while.
You get a sense that things might become a little bit more obvious for you in a moment. So what happens is you leave the tavern, you go down sort of the main road of the alley to the main sort of crossroad, which goes from the outside gate to the gate to the inner city, and you actually head toward the outside gate. To the point that Mordai actually leads you outside of the city. There are not very many people who are sort of going out of the city at this time of night. It's potentially going to become obvious that you're following this group. Yes, what would you like to do?
I will likely then find a kind of a spot where I can just like duck into an alleyway or behind a barrel or something, and make the spell just fall off.
All right, and then keep following on after that.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so you head out the eastern gate, and then sort of turn almost immediately to walk sort of along the wall. And the city is roughly sort of an octagon, so there's sort of as if the corners of a square had been sort of cut off. So you sort of go up the eastern side and around sort of a bit of the corner there, and there's this weird. You're actually close to the lake, and there's a wall that goes sort of out into the lake, but there's this sort of weird empty area where you are at the moment. And in that area, there is a gold dragonborn waiting next to a griffin. And you approach the gold dragonborn at that point. And yeah, it's become relatively clear to most of the group that there's at least somebody sort of tagging along a little bit behind, and Mordai sort of comes up to you and it's like, are they with you?
Tom will look over his shoulder and kind of look and recognize, and like, yes.
Not bad. Maybe you've got more sense than I thought.
So Rob, I'm not going to leave the city, but Ranu will basically fly, up nice and high, and hopefully they'll not be more than a mile away from town.
No.
Okay, cool.
Again, they're still right next to like the city wall sort of thing. So.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm just inside the city, just kind of chilling there, looking unobtrusive on a rooftop.
Yep.
And Ranu's just kind of in a circling pattern up nice and high, so they're not observed, but they have 120-foot dark vision anyway, and advantage on perception. So
I am imagining
visual and hearing,
like poised and just like a gargoyle, like kind of crouched and like chin on her hand.
I was probably not. Probably just like sitting cross-legged, just like quietly, meditating in the night air, not looking like Batman in the least.
So you approach this gold dragonborn. They're a bit imposing. They're not as big as Torok is, but just there's a bit of a sense about them of somebody like they're dressed extremely well, lots of sort of jewelry. This is a person who definitely displays wealth and gives this, just sort of by how they're standing, a sense of sort of arrogance and authority and sort of command to a certain degree. And you, as you approach the group that's sort of around you, these other folks sort of make a wider circle just sort of around the whole thing as you get up close to Kyensa with Mordai. And she sort of looks at Mordai and looks at you and is like, I hear you have something that belongs to me.
I do. I understand the situation by which it was taken from you is not ideal. The person who did take it, I have dealt with in my own way. They will not be bothering you any longer. They have been, as I mentioned to Mordai, somewhat imprisoned, shall we say, and will not be returning to Silver Lake. However, the condition of my returning it is that they will not be, pursued any further.
Are they in pain?
They were in pain. They are now learning to deal with being a better person.
Interesting. And you don't want me to seek them out?
In order to return this item, as you know, it was taken by Morgan. I did seek the help of Gildy, Morgan's mother. And Gildy and a group of us, some of whom are around right now, assisted in returning this item to you. As a appreciation to Gildy for her work, for her assistance, the understanding is that Morgan, although punished, will not be dealt with any further. I understand that this is not what your wishes were. However, it was the circumstances under which it was returned. This was sort of the way to get the job done.
Yes, 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 I understand. But you have the statue. It's with you on you now. You have it, yes?
Yes, I can return the statue to you.
I would like to see it.
Okay.
Talon will kind of look over to
Yep.
where Jacob's falling and just kind of, do the,
Yep.
sorry, I can see it in the Zoom. Can't see it there.
Yeah.
I will wave Jacob.
Okay, so I'll pop over, and I'll have the bag out, open it up towards Talon. I'll let him be the one to take it out and display it.
Okay. Before doing so, Talon will kind of look around, just again make sure things are quiet, and we'll kind of pick it up in such a way that it's obvious what it is, but it's not like, look what we have. And just kind of offer it to Pienza.
You don't need an insight check to get the desperation with which she wanted this back. She pretty much reached out and like tears it from your hand and sort of clutches it and sort of fawns over it for a moment. And it is returned, and I am grateful for that. I suppose I could be convinced to forget about this person who took it. Although I will say this much: if I or anyone I know ever sees them again, I will not. I cannot say what state they might end up in after that.
That is understandable, and certainly your decision, and it will be respected.
So as long as they remain where they are in this place, then perhaps they shall be safe.
Thank you for your mercy.
She looks to Mordai and sort of, face sort of falls a little bit like, I assume you are expecting a finder's fee. And he's like, well, yeah, I did help bring this back. Talon's here's one of mine, works for me. So, if you're willing to give me a little bit of something. She grabs sort of a hefty, good-sized pouch and sort of tosses it over to him and catches it. Like, I am done with all this business. You may all go. And she tucks the statue away and starts to mount up on the griffin.
Griffin mount.
Yes.
Right. Talon chooses not to say thank you or anything because it doesn't feel like it's appropriate.
All right, and pretty much the group around you just starts to like disperse out into the night, although they're mostly following Mordai away. Mordai is like counting coins and it's like the little sag as he walks.
Before Mordai leaves, Talon wants to just look at him and say, "So we're good?"
He sort of looks down at the bag and looks up at you. We're good.
Talon kind of nods and says, "See you around."
I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I'd be perfectly fine if we didn't.
Talon just kind of nods at that and leaves it at that.
And they start heading back toward the gate.
Okay. When they leave, Talon just kind of shrugs a bit, like, I guess that's done.
That went really well.
Yes. Looking at Jacob, and I'm sure there's a look of longing for that bag that just
Yeah.
says, "I'm sorry. Perhaps it is time to go find that casino."
I look at him. I said, "It's all good. They don't have the real statue." And I pull out. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that wacky Jacob. Oh,
Yeah, reaches in, grabs something, pulls the bottom of the bag out, shows it's empty.
No, I would have grabbed one of my little things that I can project an image of some sort, and I've projected the image of the statue right there. But
And it turns out it's just a
real.
tuber. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
You know, we didn't get any gold, but it was worth it for the looks on your faces.
Well, I'm glad you feel that is payment enough, Jacob, because I was going to give you a well-behaved fee, but I don't feel the need to do that any longer.
All right, so yes, you head back into the city. Again, you have let Gildy go ahead of you. So who would like to cover the 20 gold piece fee to get back into the inner city?
I can cover it again.
well, no, Turok will cover it this time.
All right. Wait, don't we have to pay it per person?
No, it's you can do it sort of for a group. It's
for a
sort of
group.
entrance to the city for sort of you and or.
I feel like I overpaid last time.
Leon, I think you've got a pass, or did you have something? I think you used your noble's writ last time. Something.
Yeah. My position of privilege. I always just browbeat them into letting me through, because how dare they? How dare they keep me outside with the riffraff?
Yes. Assuming somebody pays the 20 gold, then you all meet up at the Muse a little bit later.
Thank you, Torok.
It is getting quite late now. The crowd is starting to leave. The Jacob, if you're sort of looking for your sister, the whoever the entertainment was for the evening has already left, unfortunately. So yes, it's now relatively quiet in the common room. A few people sort of talking here and there, but it's sort of late enough that most have left. And you
Are people actually staying at the Muse? Because before they'd been staying at the
Napping Gnome.
Napping Gnome.
Oh, that's true. You could stay there as well.
What do you think, Torok? The Minstrel's Muse or the Napping Gnome for tonight?
Which one has bed I'll fit in?
The Minstrel's Muse has a bed you'll fit in.
All right.
Well, damn you then. Well,
Okay.
I guess we're paying for a bigger room.
Where is Talon staying? Is Talon coming back to the Minstrel's Muse?
I have a room.
All right.
I have a place.
You're gonna stay. Where's your place?
No.
All right.
Then on the way back, in Elvish, Leon has a little bit of a conversation with Talon, just saying, "This seems like an excellent time to leave this life behind and make a fresh start."
It would seem you are correct. How long has it been since meeting Mordai in the bar?
Like the.
Basically, has it been an hour? Like I'm trying to figure out how to speak like Talon at the moment.
Oh, okay. We'll say it's still within the hour of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel you may be correct. I think now would be a good time to maybe leave that behind.
Indeed. And I pat you on the shoulder.
All right. Anything else anybody would like to do is that as the evening comes to a close?
Gildy and Alphonse are just at the Minstrel's Muse. I think that they would like to know what happened.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go back to Gildy's whenever.
Yeah.
So when you walk into the Minstrel's Muse, like they're just kind of sitting at I don't know, they're sitting around somewhere. And Gildy is still sporting a beard. She looks like Gildy, just with a beard.
Wait, really? That's your costume?
Leon suggested it, and then Gildy was like, I'll try it for a laugh. And then she's like, this is great.
Leon did
I'll
not
enjoy this
actually
for an hour.
Leon did not
I'm
actually
stroking her
suggest it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Leon wouldn't have said that. That was just D.
Yeah.
That was
But
Still,
D suggested it.
You're
and then it
trying
was in
on
my head.
Alphonse's beard just to see what it's like. And
Yeah. Guilty was like, what is the big deal with beards anyway?
Sorry, the look on Jonathan's face right now. Oh my goodness.
Very well disguised.
so
Very well.
yes, you can let Gildy know what has happened.
My word.
You said it's late, but like it's late enough that the entertainment has left. Like, how
Yeah.
late is it in the night? I mean,
It's probably getting close to midnight.
okay. The thing that you messaged me about.
Yep.
I'm guessing that goes later, but I don't know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That would still be an option.
Okay. So obviously we will convey what happened to Gildy.
Yep.
Either role play that or just tell Gildy. But in terms of, people are like looking for what they want to do for the rest of the night. Town suggests. I know a few of us were somewhat expecting a potential fight in the future, and kind of looks at Mint a little bit, who looked a little, excited earlier. Says if anyone's interested, I'm not saying that we should, but there is a place we could go, and looks at Jacob and says potentially make a little bit of money if you want to maybe put your your wits, or not wits, your steel, whatever.
The spell wears off at exactly that point.
You want to fight somebody. There's a fight game pit thing,
Gildy doesn't say anything specific, but it's clear that she highly disapproves just by the way she's looking and the way that she's stroking her beard, which is probably going away soon. I'm sure it's almost been the hour. And she says,
The beard comes off mid-stroke. Like,
Leon
and he says, I think Alphonse and I will head home.
Leon joins Gildy in the disapproving stare.
And I speak up and say, I think what they really mean is we're an adventuring group, and we need to make sure we're sharp when we go into that shadow forest. So the best way to do that is to practice combat together.
If you've ever heard the phrase withering stare, that's kind of what Gildy points in Jacob's direction.
Leon just face palms.
Your beard is starting to curl there, Gildy.
Gildy doesn't say anything. She just walks away.
All right.
But companionship and stuff and gold. We could like companionship.
Companionship and
We all
gold.
know you're in it for the gold, Jacob.
No one's figured that out yet.
I
we're
and
a
everyone
team.
else here has figured we are a team, but
We are
I
a
and everyone
team.
else here
A
knows
proud
that
team. An unrehearsed team. You
Gildy
saw how
said-
poorly that I'll say we beat up Gildy's house pretty successfully. We took a bit of a beating, but the house really took a beating. So we need to practice. That's all there is to
Gildy
we
it.
do
says,
not need to.
Thanks, Jacob, but I have all the companionship I need for the night. And she just like tugs on Alphonse's elbow,
Heyo!
bringing me back.
Yay.
As soon as she says that, I'm gonna do one of my magical cantrips and have that bound chicka bound bound music emitting from my trap as she's leaving the inn.
Well, the medieval equivalent thereof,
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
Pretty much any bard melody that ever was thought of, I'm sure.
So yes, Gildy and Leon have made their thoughts clear. Are anybody else interested in this offer of talons?
Fight in an arena of sorts?
Of sorts.
Is it like a mud pit? Like, what are we talking about here? I've been unfortunately led into very horrible things in the past. I would like more details, please.
It's a sand pit. So
Okay, so as long as nobody spills their beer in it, I think I could maybe.
Is there the equivalent of a willpower check?
that's probably a wisdom save. Yeah.
Leon just gets up, looks at Talon, and in Elvis says, "This is not what I meant," and then goes up to her room.
It's It's not illegal.
Baby steps.
Leon leaves Ranu there to just stare, unblinking into Talon's soul.
After 20 minutes, this does start to get pretty perturbing.
Actually, Turok leads over to Ranu's ear and goes, "You want to watch?"
I am not using Ranu's perception at this point. But I love the fact that Leon doesn't even have to give her own withering stares. She's got someone else that can do it for her.
That's true.
Outsourcing withering stares since the 8th day of.
Oh,
Great.
it reminds me of the monks that can have faith for you.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so Mint seems potentially interested. Torok and Jacob.
If I had failed my willpower save, I would have went gambling, but I just made it. So I think, and also because I heard there's gold involved, I think I will join in on some of the battle festivities.
All right.
If Mint's going, Turok feels obliged.
All right.
You'd be a ringer unless there's another dragonborn in the pit.
So yeah,
In this town, could be.
we will get to that when we come back from our break, because it's getting a little late and we should take a break. So we will be back in 5 minutes, and there will be potentially pit fighting. Hello, and welcome back to the next level. We will get on to the fun, exciting pit fighting side of things. For anybody who's following along, we will probably be using the pit fighting rules that come out of Xanathar's guide, just so we can sort of quickly go through these and have some fun with them. So yeah, Talon leads the group, oddly enough, back out of the inner city. And actually, it's not far from where you were previously. So the stretch that in the eastern alley, Sandside Alley, where you had been, sort of that main road that crosses it from the outer gate to the inner gate. Just there's a little bit off of that. There's a good-sized tavern that Talon leads you to, and it looks a little run down on the outside. But you can definitely hear sort of a good amount of noise from the inside, light coming out from sort of the windows on the ground floor. You're not sure you'd want to be, staying in, if there is rooms on upper levels, if you want to be staying in them. Some of it looks a little run down, maybe some holes in the roofs, that sort of thing. But yeah, you walk in, good sized tavern, sort of open area. It's actually sort of 2 levels, and there's some sort of places to sit up top as well. Sort of a bar on the main sort of ground floor level, and not really hidden at all, is sort of off to one side where sort of Talon is heading. There's an alcove and a set of stairs that lead down. So yeah, you go inside, you go down these stairs, sort of dark stairway for a little bit, a couple lanterns. That leads you out. You get to the bottom of that stairs and sort of turn to the right, and come down a few more steps, and you come out into this open area. And it is pretty much like it's completely underground. That's under sort of the tavern. There is this pit in the center. Looks to be roughly about a 30 by 30 foot sand pit, about 15 feet down from sort of the level above it. And then there's sort of 3 tiers of seats that sort of go in a square around that. And there's a sort of a walkway all the way around the top. There's looks like maybe there's another entrance from one of the other sides, and there's sort of a bar where people are getting some drinks on one of the other sides. And then there's sort of sets of stairs down in the middle of each side to sort of each of the tiers. And you can sort of go down in through there. And so yeah, there's where you come down, there's a bar on one side. On the other side, what Talon you'd be familiar with is signing up for the fights. So if you're interested for a round or 2, and see how it goes. So assuming you head over in that direction, and assuming maybe Talon lets you know some of the rules, or you sort of read them as you get there. So there are 4 levels of fights. There's sort of easy, moderate, hard, and then like the big sort of not boss fights, but the champion fights, right? So they have a couple sort of champions in the pit, and if you really wanted to sort of challenge one of them, then that could be something that happens. And just so everyone else knows, the usual pit fighting rules, I'll get to sort of the full details in a sec, but the DC, the way the DC is determined, is it's 5 plus 2d10 to figure that out. Now, that is a difficult one. So what I'm doing is, if that's 5 plus 2d6 to figure out what the difficulty is. A moderate is 5 plus 2d8. Difficult is 5 plus 2d10, and the challenger champion ones is 5 plus 2d12 so to figure out the DC. And how you would fight so it's 3 rolls, and sort of this figures out sort of how you do in the fight overall. Generally for the pit fighting, this is supposed to be sort of 3 fights that you do over sort of, I think, a week's time. I'm sort of condensing that down into, this is sort of the main sort of fight that you end up doing. So you essentially want to win 2 of the 3 to win the fight. And those 3 rolls are, so there's 4 options. This is slightly confusing. So you're overall making 3 rolls, but there are 4 options for rolls that you can make. One is an athletics check, so a strength. One is a acrobatics check with dexterity. One is a constitution check that has a bonus equal to one of your hit dice. So you'd make a constitution check and you'd add one of your hit dice. So d20 plus whatever your constitution modifier is, plus a roll of one of your hit dice. So that's the 3rd option. The 4th option is an attack roll. You would take whatever your best attack roll is with one of your weapons, and you would just use that in place of one of the checks. Yep. So athletics, acrobatics, constitution plus hit dice, or an attack roll. So given that, who would like to sign up for what, and what level are you interested in?
So what are the various levels?
Easy, moderate, hard, and champion.
So
easy,
2d6, 2d8, 2d10, or 2d12?
plus 5 to each of those, yep.
Plus 5 to each.
Yeah, so easy or moderate seems to be in our league.
Well, champion could almost be all the way up to 29 DC, like AC. Like
Yeah,
that is impossible for us at this point.
Or as low as 7.
Yep.
I'll sign up for moderate.
All right. So we have 1 for moderate.
Yeah, Turok will try moderate.
Okay.
As will Talon.
All right.
And I don't want to look like a wuss, so I'm going to do the same.
You're all doing moderate. Sounds good. All right. I'll put the other dice away. Who wants to go first?
Turok can go first.
All right. So Turok goes first and sort of gets down. There's sort of a ladder down into the pit, and you go down, and sort of one of the others is coming down the other side. And I'll sort of describe that in a second. The rest of you sort of grab seats in the audience. And you're sort of looking around. This is sort of an interesting place. Give me a perception check.
What do my little gnomish eyes perceive?
Yes. So Jacob looks around with a 9. Turok has an 8. Mint has a 13, and Talon rolls a 10.
Wow.
All right.
I was distracted by all this newness.
Yeah, this is really new and interesting, and you're sort of looking around. You're a little bit distracted. You don't really see anything out of the ordinary. There's people that are here to see a fight. So I will get to Turok. Turok, you get down to the pit. They sort of take a look at you and size you up, and you're like, all right, you're sort of going from moderate level, but you're sort of a big bruiser type. So they put you up against, there's a Goliath that sort of comes down the other side, or a Golgath in this world. It comes down, and he's sort of, stretching himself out. He's got some pretty big, muscles on him. And the rules are essentially simple. It's either to submission or to, pinning the other guy, sort of thing. So, without further ado, the fight is called. The bell is rung.
Ooh,
So,
adieu. So Tal looks to Jacob, and why he's so excited about this, who knows?
yeah,
He's like, to place bets, we go to that table.
yeah. You want to bet on Torak?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to, and in fact, I just want to see how much gold I have.
What is the typical ranges or?
Yeah. So Torak looks like a pretty competent big fella. They're going to give him 2-to-1 odds. So you would make twice what you made. Or
If we bet on
you
him.
would make twice what you bet. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put 10 gold on Torak.
I was thinking the same, so I'll put 10.
All right.
I don't want to look like a wuss. I'll put 10 on him too.
All right.
Yeah, sure. I like how we're doing this whole thing, putting pressure on, and yet, there's D with the don't do drugs shirt, to balance things. Some positive messaging here, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Pit fights.
Don't do pit fights.
Don't do pit fights.
Here we are in a pit.
And
All
Torak
right.
will be going with athletics check.
Athletics check for the first one. All right. So give me an athletics check, and I will roll the first roll.
27.
Holy wow! What's your bonus? To
Plus 11.
athletics? Plus 11. I rolled pretty well too. I rolled a 19, but no, the first part of the fight's going really well. This, Goliath comes charging out. Torak is just would you have signed up for? You can do like weapon fighting. Would you have signed up for weapons or for like just bare fists?
This is just bare fist.
Yeah. So he comes out swinging. Like you easily sort of, dodge a few. You land a good one on him. Sort of, spin his head around. He sort of staggers back a little bit. Yeah. First sort of point definitely goes to you. What would you like for your second roll?
Yeah, I'll stick with the athletics check.
Oh no,
Oh,
you
you
can't
have
do
to
the
switch?
same one.
Oh.
Yes, you have to do 3 of those 4 different options.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So you've wasted that one.
So
Yeah.
you will do an attack.
All right.
So
Now, he
meanwhile,
gets
Tal-
hold on. I do get a bonus. I just need to check on that.
Yeah.
If that would apply here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tal turned to Jacob and said, "Easy money."
So
Roll what the difficulty is going to be for this one. All right.
so it's what is unarmed combat? He gets an automatic. Unarmed strike it's still +8. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, you'd be using as if you were using your whatever normal weapon you use. So
Yeah.
if you aren't proficient in unarmed, but you're otherwise fighting unarmed, you wouldn't need to
So
get.
a 19.
All right. Again, he comes charging back in after that first hit, and yeah, you couple strikes on you that sort of aren't really doing much to you. You push him back into a corner, land a couple good shots on him, and that's 2 out of 3 wins already. So he just sort of folds and otherwise falls into the corner, and you don't need to hold the third one.
That's my dragon mount.
Yeah, and the crowd is like, Dragon Board! Like, they don't know who this new guy is, but that was, a fun, fight for them. Like, we haven't seen a Dragonborn around here very often. Yeah, that was neat, really like that. All right, so you come up out of the pit, and they give you your winnings because you win for sort of just participating. So the pot for this is 50 gold. So, yeah.
Nice.
And you won the
Nice.
pot. Okay.
Yeah.
Jacob, it was worth coming back out of the inner city and having to go back in later for this. We already made our money.
I
Don't
like
bet
it.
anymore. We're ahead.
Oh, no. No, this is where you double your next bet. It's a foolproof system.
And I'll go in the pit.
All right. Is Mint going next?
Yeah, I'm going to lose money and teach Jacob a lesson.
All right.
I'm kidding. I don't want to die. I'm going in, though.
With weapons or without?
Mint doesn't want to look weak, so she's going in without.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Do you still get to wear your armor or no?
Again, it isn't really an armor class thing anyway, so you can go
Not
without.
really. All
Yeah.
right.
They're not really attacking you. It's just sort of how you do against their DC. So, yeah. You go in. You're paired up against this like really. It's a half-elf woman, but she sort of looks like she's, quite, fit and sort of a little scarred and bruised and that sort of thing. Looks like she's sort of a regular fighter here, and sort of stares you down. Is like, I ain't going easy on you because you're small.
I wouldn't expect you to. I'm wiry. Let's go.
All right.
What are the odds they're laying on her?
The odds on this one are 3-1.
Okay. Like I said, double the bet. I'm gonna bet 20.
All right.
I can't bet on myself, I don't think. I can't reach the table at this point.
See, Turok doesn't actually want to bet, but he feels it would be an insult to Mint if he doesn't, so he will also bet.
All right. How much? 20?
20.
All right. Talon looks to Jacob for this is how you do gambling. So 20 it is.
20. All right. So, Mint, what would you like for your first roll?
Right. Wait, my screen is one of these screens. Where is it? Aha! Okay, I have found it. All right. So I would like to start with athletics.
All right.
So that would be
Okay,
plus
roll.
3. Boop. 18.
18. So again, you sort of stand your ground for a little bit, watch this person. There's a bit of a dancing around for a little bit. You're both sort of sizing each other up. And then the other's like, and sort of charges in, sort of gets down low and sort of tries to, tackle you to the ground. You easily slip out from under her. And with your hog tying experience, you sort of grab one of her arms and give it a yank, and she's sort of pinned to the ground for a bit of a moment. You have won the first part of the fight.
Yay.
All right.
Well played. Well played.
What would you like for your second check?
That's not even my most devastating. So that is going to lead me towards my acrobatics with my plus 6.
All right.
Boom. Although that isn't as impressive.
All right.
I got cocky.
That's how sometimes these go. Maybe she didn't roll well. She sort of wriggles out of the sort of semi-pin that she's in, and sort of you regroup, and there's a bit of stalking around. She's got an eye on you now. But you're feeling a little bit more cocky. You sort of charge in a little bit, think maybe if you can take out one of her legs.
I do this really crazy, awesome flip twist thing, but it's too flashy.
It's too flashy. She catches you in midair and slams you into the wall, and you sort of fall down. And she's dancing away, to the cheers of the crowd. You have failed the second roll.
Damn.
All right, one more. What are you gonna use?
All right.
Again, if you're using a weapon attack, you can use whatever weapon you normally use. You don't have to use unarmed.
Okay.
That's your sort of your highest possible bonus.
Okay, so my highest possible bonus would have been with either the rapier or the mystic gun. It's plus 6 on either.
All right.
So I will give that a try. Really, again? I'm sorry, guys. I lost your bet.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Probably.
So
probably.
She dances away, and the crowd start cheering. She's like, yeah. And you sort of get up slowly. You're a little bit dazed. She's like, all right, I can do this. And you charge in from behind. You take her out, one of the knees, and she sort of goes down, but she rolls away. You sort of charge back in again, and there's this, whole grappling thing where she tries to, toss you away, but you come back in. It's really close. And then you just land one good punch. She's sort of down on her knees on her jaw, and she just glass jaw goes down completely out.
Mint.
Yep, she rolled at 11. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Wow.
So yes, you collect your winnings of 50 gold, and the rest of you collect your 60 gold that you got from winning the bets.
That's awesome.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
All right. So Jacob gets into the ring, and there's sort of some murmurs around, all right, because you're not a particularly athletic-looking person, I'm assuming.
Actually, my dexterity is good. My strength is 8, so I look like a scrawny little bugger.
Yeah. And you're paired against a dwarf. And this dwarf sort of climbs down and takes a look at you. He's like, yeah, I eat men like you for lunch.
Okay.
And the odds are 4-1. against Jacob.
I respond back, I had a well-balanced lunch, so I think I'm in pretty good condition.
How much would people like to bet?
What are the odds on Jacob?
4-1.
Really? They really don't think he's gonna. You know
Yep.
what? I'm good to hold. No offense, Jacob. I'm good to stay.
Luckily, I'm not seeing any of this. I'm imagining that they're putting their life savings on the line.
Well,
Yep.
so Jacob taught me how to gamble, and he's like, "You double your bet." So I'm putting 40 against Jacob.
You're a fool.
In favor of Jacob.
All right. Turok.
Oh, he's what did otherwise I missed what other people bet.
Mint staying out and Talon at 40.
Oh,
And
Turret.
it's 4-1, so he could get 160 gold out of this
Yeah.
if he wins. And
Yeah.
we are on a streak right now.
Torok put 20 in. I mean, he's
All right.
it's like he'd be insulting if he didn't, but kind of looks at Talon as like.
Jacob taught you how to bet well.
All right. So
Never walk away from the table when you're on a heater. That's why I got Jacob whispering in my ear.
all right. So the
Apprentice is
bell
doing
goes
well.
off, and the dwarf just sort of stalks in slowly towards you. What would you like to use for your first roll?
I'm going to do my best attack, which is technically like casting a spell.
Yep.
Okay, here's the first one.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll say you even sort of, you do some motions of, casting, and the dwarf sort of pauses for a second, like, you sort of see this look of like dread, fear on his face, and then he sort of charges in at you as if he's trying to, attack you before you get your spell off. But oddly enough, he charges in and is like, well, this is actually really easy to avoid. He's coming straight at me. You sort of step out of the way, and he just slams into the wall behind you and falls to the ground, a little bit dazed. You have won the first.
What just happened? I was pretty sure I was watching the
I'm going to
pit.
start doing that thing with the feet, going back and forth.
Yep.
A little bit of dancing.
What would you like to do for your second roll?
The Constitution plus my hit die.
Yep.
So that would be roll D20 plus 3 plus a D8, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm doing math because apparently I'm blanking for a moment. All right. So the dwarf sort of gets up and shakes himself off, and you're doing sort of your feet thing and dancing away. And the dwarf just sort of growls at you, but he's takes his moment now, and you sort of dance around each other for a moment. The dwarf still sort of thinks, all right, I could take in. Comes in again. This time you sort of get out of the way, but the dwarf is a little bit wily, and he sort of pauses and just sort of side checks you a little bit, and sort of that gets you off balance, and he jumps on top of you. He gives you a nice good clock to the face. He has taken the second.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
So it's acrobatics or
Athletics.
athletics? Well, it's going to be acrobatics.
All right.
You can do it, Jacob. I don't think he can. Ah!
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh,
Yeah, and it sort of goes downhill from there. You are not quite able to get out from underneath the dwarf. You just sort of a couple more hits to your face, and it's like, you got to give up. He sort of, pins you down a little bit. The bell is rung on you, and yes, he takes the last one, unfortunately, and is the winner for this fight. You sort of get up. You're a little bit bruised. But you think, maybe I handled myself okay. I fought a dwarf, barehanded, and came away able to still walk. So, yeah.
That was the worst rolling ever.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
great.
was.
Sorry, all. Okay, so Talon, now you double the bet again to make up for the losses that you've done.
Exactly.
I really wanted to
except
tell-
Talon
Oh, no,
is
Talon,
fighting,
you just get to
so-
fight now, so
Yeah.
this is all pure profit.
Yep.
So that
Right.
means you're doubling to 40 because you couldn't bet the last time, or are you doubling to 80 there, Jacob?
Oh, no, this is 40, so I've doubled, now I'll double again.
All right.
All right, so you're doubling to 40.
Well, it depends on the odds.
All right. So, yeah, Talon is a pretty big fella. Sure. Talon gets in the ring, and the person who comes down to fight him is a halfling female.
Oh.
But what makes you think this is perhaps a little bit odd is the crowd is going crazy for her.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well known here. They've given Talon 2-to-1 odds.
Just like
Yeah.
I'll place 10 gold on him.
All right.
I'll do 20.
All right.
Torg also do 10.
I thought you were doing 40, Jacob.
No, it's math. It's very complicated. You just don't. It's math.
I think you're scared of her.
Yeah, and she's like, just, got sort of, basic clothes on. Oddly enough, unlike sort of the half.
Actually, with the goading, I'm going to bet 40.
She doesn't look particularly like beat up and scarred and that sort of thing. So she sort of looks like she can handle herself. And yes, how would Talon like to start off the rolling?
He will do attack, but not surprising, just hand to hand.
Yep. All right.
Does she have a beard?
No.
It's guilty in disguise.
Right.
Come to teach us all a lesson.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
This is what you get for
Oh,
fighting in a
geez.
pit. Oh wait, no. Oh no.
Yeah. So, Talon's not really used to fighting really small people. So she comes charging in at you and takes out, one of your legs at the knee, and you sort of go down, and she does this weird flip up around your head, and there's this foot that comes out of nowhere, and suddenly you're face down in the sand, and she just goes dancing away.
Talon spits out the sand, kind of shakes his head, kind of gets up, refocuses.
Yep. Crowd is going crazy. What would you like to do for your second roll?
I will do the Constitution plus 1d6.
It's a D8, I think, for your hit dice.
Listening to the crowd, have we caught this person's name?
Yes, her name. People seem to be shouting Kess.
Kess. Do you know Kess?
We should recruit this person for our quest to go to the Shadow Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe your hit dice are D8s. So, all right,
I hope you're right.
all right. Your second roll.
Oh my god.
Oh. So you get up and you're sort of a little bit groggy. You spit out the sand. She's dancing away. She's got this all done. You're sort of a little bit more wary now. You sort of getting a nice defensive stance. You're ready for anything. She comes in at you again. Again, tries this sort of weird, complicated thing, and you're just boom. And she just goes flying back 5 feet, skids in the sand. One, the second.
Oh.
Wow. Yay.
Yeah, they rolled a 1 and a 2. So,
Whew.
Oh, Talon! What?
she gets up, and the crowd is sort of quieted down a little bit, and there's sort of some murmurs, this is going to be interesting. All right. What would you like to do for your third roll?
I guess we will go with it doesn't really matter. We'll go athletics.
All right. All right.
And
Oh. Oh. All right. So she sort of regroups and okay, maybe this guy is a bit of a danger. And she sort of waits a little bit to see if you come in. You sort of maybe take a couple of steps. You're still trying to gauge what's going on here. Was it a little hard and then a little bit easy? But yeah, you both pretty much come together at the same time. Again, it's still sort of a little difficult for you fighting someone so small, and she's really quick and sort of up and around. And it's back and forth and back and forth. She gets you down onto your knees, but then you sort of pull her off and sort of throw her, and she sort of comes charging back in, fists flying, but as she peppers you with these little fists, you finally get one good shot in on her, and she sort of slides down in, bonks her head on the side of the arena and just goes a little bit still. And you won by 1 point.
Oh.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
She sort of gets up a moment later and sort of shakes it off. Is like, you're not bad. You're not bad for, one of them big guys.
I like her.
Yeah, and the crowd is like a little bit hushed by this, and like, oh, you make Cass. All right, that's impressive. Like, you get the sense she's like one of the regulars and probably a crowd favorite. So yeah. All right, so you get your 50 gold reward, and others get their sort of 2-to-1, whatever you bet.
Ching.
Nice.
There you go.
I go over and I hug Mint. Mint, thank you for the pep talk. I didn't think I was going to be able to gamble, but you showed me the true way is to gamble as much as possible whenever possible. I thank you. Big bear.
I'm glad it worked out for you this time, but that was a fluke. A big fluke.
Now, as I was saying as I was saying earlier, always bet on our team. We're stronger for this. And richer.
Much richer.
Let's go drinking.
Walks by to Mint and goes, always bet on green.
But you're blue.
After, if you're going to stick around and watch some of the other fights, you can see sort of like some of the champion fights, and these guys are like really seriously going at it. There's some like hard gore, some of them, like full armor, full weapons, like really.
I'm probably full of adrenaline now and want to just watch.
Yeah,
Plus,
and there's like a couple other crowd favorites to come through and do things. Oddly enough, Kess competes in one of the full-on armored fights. So she goes back down into the pit, and what's interesting is she goes back down pretty much the exact same she was to fight Talon. Sort of nothing on at all. Well, sorry, basic clothes on, no armor, no weapons. Nice. And then like this glowing mystical armor appears on her, and a two-handed sword appears in her hands, which she seems to be wielding with relative ease as she fights sort of the other sort of champion level, the guy that she's fighting, and like cleans the floor with them.
It's like Leon and Gildy had a love child. Like just the glowing and the like, yeah, but like really odd and impressive sort of weird fighting style. Like part of the fighting style with the sword is like she'll stick the sword in the ground and that sort of flips her up, and then she'll sort of bring it out and sort of flip around with the sword, like very athletic and acrobatic, and wielding this massive sword that's like the blade is twice her height. So yeah.
If I'm sitting beside Talon, I'm gonna throw out the fight whisper. I think I saw her giving you some eyes. She might have been interested. She might make a very good companion for our trip out into the Shadow Forest. I think you should follow up.
He's a competent fighter.
Very competent.
Along that note, sort of after her fight, you're sort of watching sort of a couple of the last fights of the night, and she actually comes to you. And sort of takes the seat next to you for a moment, and sort of like, you're the first one to give me a good run in a while at just a bare fist. So yeah, good on you. And she sort of gives you a light sort of punch to the side sort of thing.
You're quite a good fighter too. I think I might have just got lucky.
As I see Talon talking, I'm gonna cast message and just whisper her, "Told you she liked you." Right in the middle of his conversation too, to try to throw him off.
This is not Cyrano de Bergerac. Stop it.
So Talon tries to say, "I got lucky," and it's like, well, I'm hoping to get lucky. I mean,
Can you roll for composure? Is that willpower?
Roll to aim the foot into the mouth, is it?
Yes.
Roll wisdom to keep a conversation going.
Yeah.
Is there a charisma saving throw?
Actually, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So yeah, you managed to basically keep it together, but there's this sort of weird voice in your head saying, I think she likes you. Yeah. So
and that weird voice is Jacob.
Yeah, but she otherwise like, if you ever want to come back, I'm willing to do a rematch. We can see how we do.
I just may take you up on that offer.
All right. And yeah, there's like a couple other people that might be sort of potentially good to, if you're looking to recruit people. And actually, just for fun, just to throw them in as well. Again, sort of as people are starting to disperse, the fights have sort of officially ended for the night. Mint and Torok, someone sort of, taps, Torok on the shoulder and sort of, you can Mint, as you're sort of leaving, and you turn around and see Melinda Guard, who you have met previously. And she's sort of, outfitted. She looks like she's figuratively or perhaps in real life leveled up since the last you met her. Sort of doing a little bit better in life. It's like, hey, you guys were in that caravan that came from the east, weren't you? I think I remember you. You're not there's not many big dragonborn like you, accompanied by a gnome with your spirit.
Yep, that's us. How have you been?
Pretty good. Business has been good. Lots of caravans going around, lots of business, and hey, I'm still alive, so that's something.
Fantastic.
And yeah, Belinda's around here somewhere. We were watching the fights and just sort of caught sight of you, and I think caught your fight as well. So yeah, good on you there.
Thank you. Yeah, Tork did all right too.
Yeah.
Darko,
So for Talon and Jacob, yeah, this is a woman, looks like sort of a hardy, stocky sort, who's yeah, just looks like they spend their sort of time and occupation as in the rougher arts, although has a weird this sense, Jacob, that you get that maybe there's something slightly mystical, magical going on here, but you're not quite sure. Yeah.
so Turok asks what they're up to now. Basically, it's just so. What are you two involved in currently?
Well, we're sort of between jobs at the moment, but probably be heading out on sort of the next caravan whenever that comes along. Always, looking for the next job.
Turok looks over at Mint and kind of nudges.
We have a job.
You have a job?
Yeah, we have a job. We're looking for people.
Oh yeah.
For it.
You need like a guard?
Well, we need people who could help support our group.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, cool.
Just for clarity, we're going to clean out the Shadow Forest.
What?
We kind of know what methods work, and we actually dealt a pretty decent blow last time we were in there. So now we want to go in there and finish the job, and we need more hands to help us accomplish that.
Shadow Forest?
Yep.
Before you accept, it's only fair you know what you're accepting.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't like I wasn't going to not tell them.
Yeah, when we got there.
No, I'm not like that. What is wrong with you? No, what I would have liked to have done would have been to have introduced you to the rest of our team first.
Oh, there's more of you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, goodness, it's not just two of us going into the forest. You think I'm mad? Anyway. Oh, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. Anyone as short as me has to be a little mad to fight as much as I do, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, who like sort of notices probably Talon and Jacob. Obviously, like, are these guys with you?
Yeah, Talon's with us, and so is Jacob. So Talon took on Cass and won that match, and Jacob did okay.
I tried really hard.
Well, you know what? That dwarf, he's a real bruiser. He's won more fights than he's lost. So good on you for taking him on. And yeah, hey.
We also have a few other members who chose not to attend.
Oh, more. All right. What are you offering for this adventure of yours into the Shadow Forest?
We would help provide food.
Yeah.
You would travel with us for a couple of weeks. And there's also pay involved, and some expenses may be due to be covered as well.
Okay.
Plus, yeah, Turok's not a negotiator, so he's just going to stay quiet on this part.
I'm going to kind of lean in going, ask about the bottomless alcohol.
I'm okay sharing that since it's bottomless. Yeah, we also have some bottomless mead. We've discovered that the skin never goes dry. So when there's opportunity and we don't have to worry about fighting the next day, we can all celebrate with it.
All right. So you said like 2 weeks. Is that what you're roughly expecting?
Yeah, around there.
All right.
Because it's going to take us time to get there, and we'll be spending a few days in the forest itself and then the trip back. But you can make your own way to wherever you like after the forest. You don't have to come back with us.
Well, Melinda and I are we're getting pretty well known. We're asking about like 18 silvers a day each for our services. Is that going to be doable?
I could probably cover that.
All right.
Let me just check my math on that.
Yeah. 3.6 gold every day.
Well, and Turok looks at Mint and goes, but cut of treasure instead, maybe?
Well, cut of treasure usually is split among the group that survives. So that's a given. That's always on top of expected pay, isn't it? Not always.
No. Yeah, we could go down to like 15 silvers a day each with a bit of a treasure bonus involved. Yeah, sure, we can do that.
Depends what kind of treasure we find. If it's not something that's easily split among members, then probably not.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, she essentially lets you know where they're staying. It's like we'll be there for probably at least the next 2 or 3 days. If you think that rate's reasonable, then go ahead and come grab us.
Yep, I will talk to the other people in our group who are not here, who tend to handle money more, just to verify with them that sounds reasonable. And knowing where you're staying, I will meet up with you.
All right, sounds good.
Fantastic.
So yeah, 21 gold for the 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. So you head back and have a nice rest for the evening. We're just hitting about 10 o'clock now, but we'll sort of go a little bit into the next day. We're now on the 11th. Just give me a sec. I'm just double checking if there's anything interesting that's happening in the next couple of days. Okay. So, yeah, you sort of head back, you get some rest. And anything you would like to do, we'll start off the next morning and probably continue on in the next session from there.
Alrighty.
Yeah, anything you want to do the next morning just to get us started?
For the next morning, kind of at breakfast, if we all can have it together, I would like to bring up the fact that I think that is it Melinda and Belinda?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they're both guards. They seem interested. They're named for themselves, and they are asking 17 silver a day for a hire. And I'm actually willing to pay for that myself.
All right.
That should be a group split. Plus, also, I think we should really ask Talon's girlfriend to see if she would like to come along with us.
Yes, his new sparkly girlfriend. Very shiny.
Not my girlfriend.
She seems interested.
She's a good fighter.
She's a good fighter. She's a crowd favorite at the pit. Everyone was rooting for her, and Talon won. But we then saw her take on a big, brutal guy, and she's got some like mystic armor and a giant mystic sword.
Seems very capable.
Very capable.
Oh, and with how kind of late the night went and everything, I think I slept in instead of getting up for my meditation. A little too much excitement, was able to get a good night's sleep.
All right. Yeah, and you can sort of also, there's probably boards around town where you could sort of put up notices if you're sort of looking for others that might help. But yeah, you can definitely go back to the guard twins and let them know that their price would be acceptable.
I'm
Talon
thinking just winning 50 gold. I'm thinking about spending it right away on hires.
Yep. Also, potentially, there's items and things to be acquired. Talon or Jacob, did you want to try and seek out Kess and see if she's interested?
Sure, although Talon would like Jacob to come with him.
Of course.
I would be happy to cover the expenses of the guard twins, since one, I know them, and a number of you had contributed to me learning Remove Curse. And this can be a way for me to pay back that debt.
All right. I was thinking about paying them half down so they could help themselves get some of the things that they require for the trip. And if you wanted to pay the other half upon completion of the journey, that might work out well. Would that
All
help
right.
for contribution, Leon?
Yes, I'm quite happy with whatever you feel is acceptable.
Alrighty.
All right, so half now. So yeah, we'll round it to essentially, I think you said 21 gold. So we'll round it to 20 gold, so 10 and 10. All right. And then Leon.
All right.
Oh, I hadn't mentioned, they were interested in offering us a reduced rate if there was treasure at the end that we might be able to split a little bit with them. But I said that depends on what we find. So I didn't want to get into that too much.
Tara can contribute to paying salaries as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they're helping the group, Talon certainly is happy to contribute.
And then it doesn't hurt too much anyone out of pocket.
Yep.
All right.
So sorry, was that with are we going to take them up on the discount or not?
I would say don't take them up on the discount because we can't guarantee that treasure at the end is splittable. And I would pay them half of the daily payment. Somebody else may want to cover some of the expenses to help them get ration food.
Well, yeah, they can.
But that can help them pay for the ration food anyway.
So I just did the math again. So if you're not doing the reduced rate, it would be gold total.
All right. Oh,
So,
total?
Yeah. So half would be
25 and 3 would be 28. It would be 28 and 28, basically. All right. So I will give them 28 to say they are hired.
Yep.
And then, Leon, if you want to cover the other 28 or you want to split it with the others later, then that's good. Or
I'll happily cover it.
All right. So I'm removing 28, and I will let the ladies know they are hired. Sweet.
All right. Talon and Jacob, you head back to the tavern to inquire after Kess, since she's relatively well known. You figured the tavern owner might know where she is. He directs you to sort of another tavern in the sort of Sandside Alley, which Talon you would recognize as being pretty much the swankiest place that you can get in one of the alleys, without being sort of in the inner city. And yeah, you sort of head over there, and she has like a nice sort of suite of rooms, and sort of comes to the door and she's like, "Oh, hey, didn't expect to see you so soon. What are you doing here?"
Well, I and some others are going on a bit of a journey to help fight things in the Shadow Forest, and didn't know if you, and he's kind of looking at Jacob, would like to come...
Best message, compliment
her. With us, because you are such a great fighter that perhaps you would be a great help, and it would be nice if you wanted to come.
Oh, that's so cute. She's like, like out adventuring. I haven't done that in a while. That could be fun. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not cheap.
How much would it cost to have you come with us?
Best message. You're killing it. Keep it up.
And she sort of eyes you, both of you, as like, and even without an insight check, you get the sense she's going into this potentially as a bit of a sort of a bargaining starting point. Like, I've been asking about 3 gold a day, so I don't know if that's maybe a little too steep for you.
Talon looks at Jacob. It's like, what do you think?
It's tough. There's so many costs associated with being saviors of an entire land. I mean, purging evil. How can you put a cost on that?
That's true. I suppose if you guys covered like the food and other expenses like that, I could bring it down to like 2.5.
You had mentioned that people had started referring to us as a group.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm going to name drop that and just see if that kind of triggers anything.
All right.
I forget what we were called.
The name was Torchlight.
Torchlight.
Right.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. So thanks for bringing that up. And you mentioned that, and he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah. There was a group that went into the Shadow Forest and like did some nasty stuff. That was you guys?
Oh, you've heard of that?
Yeah.
It was great, but you know what? We can't take all the credit. Talon was amazing. Like he saved my butt personally more times than I can count, and it was just such a. It was very moving to have purified the forest and knowing that we're making a difference in the life of regular folk like myself. Thank you, Talon.
All right.
He exaggerates, but it is good work.
All right. Well, I suppose. What do you guys think is reasonable to do some of this good work?
So what did it work out to for the twins per day?
The twins were 18 silver, so 1.8 gold per day each.
Okay. So
Cheese is currently at 2.5. Yeah.
Okay. 2 would 2 be reasonable if we
2 gold pieces a day?
Yeah.
How about
Oh, come on, Talon. We could do 22 silver a day. Look, this is a fine fighter. We should pay for quality. If you just try to nickel and dime us, we're not going to get quality fighters for this. 22 silver a day.
I agree with your friend. I will take that price. All right. How long, roughly, were you thinking? It's like 1 week, 2 weeks?
Oh, 2 weeks.
All right. We'll do some more quick math here and come up with a total for you. 2.2. So total is roughly 35 gold for 2 weeks. So that is for Cass. All right.
Mark that off.
While they're gone,
Yep.
Leon heads to the House of Wands.
Yep.
And greets Cormandius.
Yeah.
And asks for the grease spell.
Ah, yes. Yep. Easy to acquire. They can definitely do that.
Okay. How much will that be to get the spell?
How much is it usually to do a spell? It's half the.
Okay, so it's just the cost to put it into my spellbook?
Yeah, pretty much. Like if you need to, I suppose it would be the same as like buying a scroll of grease to sort of get it written down. What level is grease?
First.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need more first level spells that I can use in combat.
1 sec.
Yeah, but then it'll be 25 gold for me to learn it because I'm a conjurer.
2 magic items. So first level spell scroll. Yeah, so it's on top of the 25 gold to sort of learn it. I would say to sort of purchase the spell. For you, a good customer, it would be 50 gold.
Okay. Am I able to reduce that any with all of the knowledge that I'm now bringing from the Temple of the Archmage?
Yes. Sort of spending an afternoon, or spending, I suppose, the morning, since morning, having a long chat and sort of relaying some of that. Yeah, he'd bring it down to 35 gold.
Okay, so then that'll be 35 plus 25?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Cool. Then I relay a lot of that information and then spend 1 hour learning my spell.
Nice. While you're there, he has many other interesting items. If you are interested, if you are going to be going off and venturing out again, there's many sort of interesting items as well that we perhaps could interest you in.
What kind of items does he have? Because I don't have a whole lot of money left. Hold on, that was 25 and 35, which is 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much do you have left? Not to sort of, but I'm just sort of curious what range of items he'd be sort of mentioning.
Well, I mean, technically I have 269 gold pieces left, but I'm trying to
Yep.
I'm sure I'll have other things to.
Yeah. There's a potion of greater healing he is offering for 180 gold. Bolts of seeking, you probably wouldn't need those. The staff of mercy.
Oh. What does the staff of mercy do? It's probably outside of my price range, but what does it do?
Actually, it's quite reasonable. Let's just do a find. Where is mercy? Stuff. Yep. Oh. Well, no, I'm not sure if that would work for you or not. So the staff of mercy essentially cannot strike anyone below 1 hit point. So however much damage you do to them, they would always sort of never be able to go below 1 hit point.
Okay, but it's a staff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have any healing properties. It's just a matter of you can't beat people to death with it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
A really cruel torture device.
Well, the thing is, I don't mind beating people to death with a weapon.
That's what I'm like, oh, yeah, so maybe not your thing.
No, but I was hoping that because it was mercy that it would have a healing property. Is there anything, the only thing I might be interested in, I guess I'll switch to Leon speak. I'm realizing I've decided I'm going to stay out of combat after some personal experience with how poorly that goes when I get directly involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm interested in having some way to perhaps heal my comrades, because I do have potions of healing and I could mage hand it to them. However, if I had some way to possibly have healing word or something like that, that would interest me. One of my companions has a rock that they throw at us that sometimes heals us, and thankfully we've been lucky in that regard. But I'm not interested in anything that random.
A rock that sometimes, I'm not sure I have heard of that. That sounds violent and interesting.
Yes, that is a good description of my companion. I look around and make sure that Mint hasn't snuck up behind me after I say that. And I'm like, it's a magic shop. Mint is not going to come here.
No.
I know. Every time Mint is like, oh, magic. Ooh.
Like that.
Oh, pretty much.
Okay.
Leon used to think that you didn't like Leon until she realizes, oh, Mint doesn't like magic. And I'm like, Madam Magic. So that's why Mint is like, ooh, around me. So yeah.
I think that's actually in here. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that would allow you to others. Unfortunately, other than the regular potions of that sort, I don't tend to specialize in that so much. I do have a periapt of health, which would work for you in terms of resisting disease and that sort of thing. Yes. But yes, unfortunately, I don't have anything that would allow you to heal others.
Works better when I'm not muted. Well, that's unfortunate. Do you know of anywhere that I could go that might have something like that?
Potentially, yes. I mean, I hate to lose business, but well, there's Mistress Maves. They tend to do more potions and elixirs and that sort of thing. Be a little bit wary of some of their stuff is a little iffy, but they do have some quality stuff in there as well. They, I don't know if they'd have much in the way of items, though. The only other one I can think of that I really hate to send people there. She's a bit odd, that one. There's the Hand of the Mystic. She's got some very interesting items. I'm sure that's where your friend got her rock of whatever. And that sounds like something that that Nikala would sell.
Well, thank you. I will check out that location out, and as always, I will certainly refer people here for any of their magical needs.
Oh, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that.
Oh, of course. And what was that, Rob? What was that name again of that person?
Nikala was the name he gave, and the shop is called the Hand of the Mystic.
Okay, I check out the Hand of the Mystic.
All right. Anything, just before we get to that, anything else people wanted to sort of do that morning?
Talon wouldn't mind maybe checking out a magic shop or two.
All right.
Looking for some kind of defensive benefit.
I'll likely do the same, but I'm okay to do this off camera.
All right.
But we could all meet at the Hand of the Mystic.
I'll say yes.
randomly.
Randomly, you all meet at the Hand of the Mystic, which is yes. For Leon's purposes, you probably meet just outside. And Leon's like, I can see why Cormandius might be a little. It's essentially a tent that's sort of set up in the Lower Merchants District, but inside, like it's very much. Sort of well, you know, the sort of nomads that have, you know, the tents they set up in, but it's like very lavish on the inside, and the, you know, well furnished, there's shelves and everything, you know, carpets on the floor. So it's odd, but it is sort of relatively well appointed on the inside.
Right.
And you look around, and there's definitely some interesting items in here. So
I go right to I'm super happy to. I get there. I kind of make that face of like, ooh, do I really want to go in here? Then I notice Talon and Jacob, and I'm like, oh, hello, how wonderful to have met you here. I was just about to check out this shop. Would you like to come with me? The Hand of the Mystic.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
And then I go right to whoever I think is Nikala, and
she's the only one in there, so easy to find.
Hello, I hear that your name is Nikala, and that you might have items that might allow me, as a wizard, to be able to heal my companions. I have potions. However, I wish to have something that I could heal them with from a distance, such as something like Healing Word, which I know is not normally within my wheelhouse, but it would be particularly useful if I had such a thing.
Oh, well, I have many interesting items that might help. Unfortunately, I did just a little while ago sell my Rock of Healing. It was quite a useful item that I have had a lot of luck with in the past, and but unfortunately that has been sold.
Yes, my companion mini set is actually the one that you sold it to.
Oh, really? Has she liked it?
Oh, very much so.
Oh, okay, good. And, in terms of other healing items, there's I might be able to make something for you on commission, but I don't have anything sort of set aside at the moment.
All right. What were you thinking, and what kind of cost would there be?
So you said you mentioned the spell, a sort of healing word, so something that might allow you to cast that in sort of the heat of a moment, sort of thing.
Yes, even a once per day. I'm just thinking if one of my companions falls in combat, easier to use healing word to revive them rather than a potion.
Yes. I could see about putting something together. It would probably cost in the range of 150 to 200 gold pieces.
Would it require attunement?
Oh.
My preference would be something that didn't require attunement, as I already have a number of items which do require attunement.
Yes, I could probably make that work.
All right. And what would you require? How long would it take, and what would you require beforehand?
I would require a down payment of probably about half of the price. I'd say about 70 gold pieces for now. That's a rough estimate. And do you have a timeline when you would need it?
Well, as soon as possible, really. We are planning on heading into the Shadow Forest.
Yes, that might make it a tad more expensive. Maybe 100 gold up front, and I could try and have it done in 2 days.
I look at Talon and Jacob. Does that seem acceptable for us to wait 2 days for healing? Jacob, I know that you can heal, and I believe Gildy might be able to. I was just thinking it might be helpful if I had healing as well. But if you think that's not that important, then I will certainly trust your judgment in that.
I don't think there's an urge to rush out into the forest, but we probably should out sooner than later.
All right. And do you think it's worth it for me to have healing as well?
I think it's worth it for everyone to have healing.
Good point. All right. Done. I give her 100 gold.
All right. Down payment on a healing word item.
All right.
All right. Jacob and Talon, what sort of things are you looking for? So I will describe a little bit of the shop. Again, shelves with interesting knickknacks. Picture sort of somewhere between a shaman that might have some shrunken heads, and somewhere between a like a just random flea markety sort of stuff. So there's a shovel that's leaning up against one of the shelves. There is a pristine looking, perfect fish that looks like it should be like out of water but drying up, but it looks actually quite nice. There's an orb that seems to be sort of semi-floating on its own, just about an inch above one of the shelves. Some interesting things in here. What sort of things might you be looking for?
Well, I just came into a bit of coin, so I'm kind of browsing right now to see if anything interests me.
There's a sort of a dangle of sort of a group of peppers that are sort of gathered up together. That are labeled as the Pyromaniacs peppers.
Ooh.
That sounds like Jacob written all over it.
What does this do?
It's like, oh, those are quite nice. They come in and so usually batches of 3, and you would eat one, and then it allows you to breathe a cone of fire for up to 30 feet. Yes, and each one would allow this to happen once.
And the cost?
There's a slight side effect of it. It does sort of taste like burning.
Mm.
Well, for you, since you have other friends doing business, I could do 200 gold pieces.
I came into some coin, but not quite that much coin. It is expensive for a...
Maybe 180 gold pieces.
I was hoping more on the 150 level.
150?
Yeah.
Maybe if there's something else you're interested in, I could give you a bundle deal.
Okay, well, I'll continue looking around then.
All right. The orb catches your attention. And it's labeled as the Orb of Advice.
Hard pass. What? No, what's
Okay.
next? No.
That might be something you might be interested in, Talon.
Curious.
What kind of advice does this give?
So if you ask it a yes or no question, it will give you an honest answer as long as that information is generally known. Or, known by, at least, it's not, unfortunately, has knowledge of all things, but yes, it can inform many things.
That might be a good item for you, Talon, when you're thinking about wandering off on your own. You could ask it whether that would be a good idea or not.
This is true. How much would such an item cost?
Oh, I could be willing to let it go for 400 gold pieces.
That is definitely, unfortunately, outside of my budget.
Oh,
Perhaps
350? How about 350? You could do 350, yes?
I think it's a little pricey, but thank you all the same.
True. Perhaps you could just ask before you go off on your own.
Yep.
That is also a wise decision. Yes.
Excellent.
There are also sort of more recognizable things. There's a few healing potions.
Mhm.
There's a dagger, which is just sort of a regular +1 dagger. And I don't know if either of you can wield a shield or not.
Oh, I can.
I think I can, but actually I'm positive I can.
So there's the Shield of Sorrow, which once per day allows the user to cast the specific command to give up with a Wisdom save DC 13.
I thought it was going to be the Shield of Smugness, and was going to be like, that would be perfect for Jacob.
Yes. It's the Shield of Sorrow. It's got one of these sort of little sad drama faces on it. Yes. There's the Heavenly Headpiece. That is a very fine hat. Birds will refuse to poo on you. And the hat can summon 1d20 spectral pigeons per day.
Why wasn't I told of this before I made my purchase?
This is brilliant. How much is that one?
50 gold.
50 gold.
Only 50.
Tell you what,
pigeon
180
of
for the fiery peppers and the hat.
Done.
Oh God.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so the Heavenly Headpiece. And the Pyromaniac's peppers.
And I will take 180 off my character sheet.
I will create those items.
Does
And,
Jacob wear the hat?
Hmm?
Does Jacob wear the hat?
Oh yeah.
Assuming so. Yes.
Oh, Leon is clearly disappointed. Slightly envious of the hat.
Talon, anything
Do I have the hat on right now?
Sure.
Well, if you ever need a smile, and I wave my hands and produce.
Wait, do you do that indoors or do you wait to get outside first?
I wouldn't think about that. I just want to cheer up Leon.
And
You make the pigeon.
Inside the shop.
Inside the shop.
oddly, the owner, Nikala, seems thoroughly pleased by this. The pigeons flying around her shop. Yes.
Guess they're not gonna poop on me.
Oh, you know if they poop on Leon, you're dead, right, Jacob? Like you know.
It'll be worth it for the joy that these pigeons are giving Leon. He looked so downtrodden he didn't have enough money for it. I just had to purchase it.
I'm glad I'm not there right now.
Yes. Talon, anything you're looking for?
Anything either defensive, potentially offensive for hand to hand, or any funky booties like what Leon has or something.
I thought you didn't like my boots.
I want different boots. I don't know. I don't know if this is quite the right store for it, but
look up boots.
While we're shopping, Leon's going to ask what the two of you have been up to this fine morning.
we hired someone to help us on our little quest.
Oh, who was that?
Kess.
So when you say that, Leon suddenly has a moment of going, I mean, who is that?
Talon just looks oddly at Leon for a moment and says, she was one of the fighters from the ring, the little tournament we went to last night.
Oh, that's pit fighting that you went to, even though Gilly and I clearly thought it was a terrible idea for you
Yes.
to go.
But it has resulted in us finding some help for our little quest.
True,
See?
I suppose.
And if we didn't go, I wouldn't have had the funds to purchase these wonderful pigeons.
Mhm.
That is true. So, so Kess, you said
Yes.
this person's name was.
Is.
I see. Interesting.
Do you know Kess?
No? How would I possibly know a Kess? I wasn't at the pit fighting. I clearly didn't go with you.
Talon will do an
Do we
insight
even,
check.
do we even need to make an insight roll?
Thank you for
I
finding.
don't think you guys need to because I rolled an 8 on my deception.
And
Oh,
well
yeah.
acted.
Yeah, they're both above 22 for. Yeah, no. You get the distinct impression that somehow Leon was there.
Hmm.
And is really, really excited to meet Cass. Like, is like still trying to hold it in. It's like, oh my goodness, I get to meet Cass. Cass is amazing. I mean, no, like, what are you talking about?
This brings about. Okay, I'm going to do a fun aside. I was reading a neat little thing to do about kind of perception and insight checks. Instead of doing your thing, then rolling the check, you roll the check, then you role play what would have been the result.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Which it would have been the same scene with these rolls,
Yes,
anyways.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, somehow Leon knows exactly what you did last night.
I don't.
So there was a movie about that. I know what you did.
as you
You know
do,
what you did in the pit last night.
and just as they're having this conversation, I'm like, well, answer me. Did you like her better in the match with Talon or the other one where she had the armor?
Leon walks away.
Good cover.
And about that point, Talon, you do discover this fine pair of slippers.
Mhm.
that are labeled the Slippers of Speed, minor. They
Oh, you're too old.
yes, can only be worn by miners, unfortunately. Whether you work in a mine or no.
Yeah, because when you go to a mine, you want to be wearing slippers.
Absolutely. To be comfortable. Those places are cold.
So yes, the effect is while wearing these boots, once per day, you can add 1d8 to your initiative roll.
Oh, interesting. How much do these slippers cost?
90 gold pieces.
Hmm. Can I try and charm him to get a bit of a discount?
Give me a persuasion check.
I do not have
Talon the Charmer.
that. Charm. Persuasion. There you are.
16. She's like, well, yes, maybe again, if you bought something else, I've got some nice healing potions. I could knock a little bit more off the price.
How much are the healing potions?
Well, for one sort of basic healing plus the boots, I'd give those for you for 120 gold pieces.
Done.
All right. So that's basic healing potion plus the boots of
Excellent.
speed minor. All right. All right, and since we're getting late, we will sort of wrap things up there and fade out onto the interesting magic shop that is the Hand of the Mystic. And next time we will continue on with perhaps gathering some more minions to help with the fight, or otherwise heading out into the forest. So we will see you again in 2 weeks. You guys take care and enjoy yourselves out there in this weird world that we're living in right now, and we'll see you then.